Ahoy, land lovers! It's me, very big Vasco, and I don't have a lot of frame to work with, so this may require some adjustment, like all things in this room. How is everyone doing? As I have titled the stream, I have changed some things since the setup of yesterday's stream. This is an art, not a science, and I'm good at neither art nor science, so we have that going for us. Also, I've had my softbox on for, I don't know, like 20 minutes, and it already shut itself off once, which it did once during yesterday's stream, and I don't know what causes that or why. Good news, my extremely grody mouse that I definitely need to like properly clean is working again, and it's plugged into the broken USB port from yesterday. So presumably I think like three total resets since that issue immediately preceding yesterday's stream is resolved. What is a softbox? A softbox is a production industry term for a light that's purpose is to just generate like a blanket of very soft light. It's not technically the name for this thing, but it is the function that it's serving. In particular, this is the Elgato. What is this thing called? The Elgato something light. I don't think they call it a fill light or a soft light. It's another Elgato streaming product. Like the green screen, I still can't use because the couch is too close to everything. So I just want to be clear. I don't think I'm gonna move the camera to demonstrate this point because I'm reasonably happy with where it's at and I'll never get it framed again. So the couch starts here and goes all the way to the wall of the far side of this room, which means I can't move it any further away from the desk. And it also, this is also like essentially the only place in the room it could go unless I put it directly behind me. But then, like, I can't escape the desk or do anything behind me. As I mentioned yesterday, I may have to get rid of the couch that's been the background to the stream forever. When I moved here, originally the plan, I don't remember if I talked about this yesterday, but this is a 3-bedroom house. One bedroom is a bedroom that I sleep in. Hooray for me. Second bedroom is the room that we're in right now. Third bedroom is like a guest space. I don't really have any friends here because I just moved here with family and I moved 3,000 miles. So I don't really know anyone here. So the intention in the price range I was able to buy a house is like I would probably be able to get 3 bedrooms. And it would be nice to have a space where my friends who aren't local could stay if they wanted to visit or had reason to come to like Disney World or whatever because we're not like crazy far away from there. So like I didn't really want to buy like a whole new bed for that purpose because buying a house is really expensive. I'm not like flush with cash right now or anything like that. So like I was just gonna use the big futon. This couch folds into a bed. It is effectively a mattress on a frame that transforms from couch into bed mode. And it's in like pretty good shape and like I don't think there's any reason why I couldn't do that. But then my parents were discussing the fact that unbeknownst to me, my sister with her disabilities had expressed discomfort sleeping on one of their guest mattresses because they have a guest room also, mainly used for family visiting for holidays. And they had been considering getting like something that would be more conducive to her needs, which they hadn't previously known because, you know, the condition is developing in a sense. So like it hadn't previously been an issue and more recently has become an issue. And so they had been looking into that. And they were like, when we do that, like maybe we could just like give you that bed and then you'd have like a real person bed and you'd have to answer fewer questions to people coming to stay at your house. I'm like, that's very reasonable and generous. And that seems like a great solution. It's true, we have a few guest bedrooms. I'm trying to consolidate. I'm already talking quite a lot. Um, but yes. So the intention is sort of that. And I mean, I've also skimmed over the fact that I got a new bed frame and mattress for myself because I had had that mattress for like 15 years and they don't sort of recommend that sort of thing. So the bed frame that used to have my bed in it forever is now in the guest room with no mattress, awaiting whatever time frame that transition is. It's not super urgent. But now this, which was kind of supposed to be the main piece of furniture in an entire room, it kind of doesn't have like a place to go, and thus the new dilemma. Um, so, you know, decisions haven't been firmly made, but as good of shape as this thing is in, it doesn't really fit here. It's a problem. I'm not entirely sure what to do about it. Sleep room is best room. Sleep room is a good room. Some curtains are neat. As my mom points out, we got some sort of test curtains at the store today. I put one up. It was like a pair of them. I have like relatively small windows because it's like a small house. I don't think there's anything particularly weird about that. But it came with like a set of two curtains to put on like normal size windows. But with the small ones, I can kind of just do this. And I did this partially to demonstrate to my mom what it looks like. And it actually matches the color of the room really nicely. So like that's fun. But also it kind of can by itself just like cover the whole window. I could put the two up, and I think that would also work. I'll have to mess around with that. But, I wanted to put it up largely because when I reframed the camera, like you could really just see directly out of my house. I'm like, yeah, I have lived here for less than a month. Maybe I shouldn't attempt to dox myself. But speaking of the view of the street outside, an ice cream truck came by today. I didn't really make an effort to stop it or anything because I thought I was like disassociating. But also, I did manage to catch a glimpse of it before it drove by, and it was like a really like weirdly like short and like squat ice cream truck. I haven't seen an ice cream truck in. You're expecting a really big number, but it's only a modest number because there was like a random time pre-COVID at the office of the company I still work out of, where like I went out on one of our work avoiding walks with like three of my coworkers, and like a really sketchy looking like rust covered ice cream truck drove by, and they were like, "We're getting ice cream," and I'm like, "I don't want lockjaw. I don't know if you can get that from ice cream, but I feel like I can get it by being close to that truck." And that was like, I don't know, 6 years, no, 5 years ago. I guess like 5 years ago was really the only realistic time frame that could have happened. And I mean, the current works better than I might have thought. It says I can got junk the futon if I want to. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the thing to do because my understanding, based on what he said, is that like got junk attempts to preserve any usable things by like giving them to people who can use them or something to that effect. Which like this definitely shouldn't be like scrapped. The futon is it's fine. It's more a question of like, is that the right thing to do? Because it's emotionally difficult to do, even though it is logically it feels correct. But I mean, it's been around forever. I've my parents have given me quite a lot of useful hand-me-down furniture, but they also bought me a super nice sectional couch for my living room, in addition to the aforementioned bed. I mentioned yesterday that they have provided a lot of financial support to the move, and it would be really hard to overstate how much it has been. I'm definitely starting to develop a complex. Nobody worry about that. Ice cream trucks are fun if they don't look sketchy. They probably can be fun if they look sketchy, but I feel like it's a higher bar to clear. Um, we got some questions to answer. I feel like I've done my recap because we did a lot of, like I don't know that we're ever gonna really drill down into the insanity of trying to get the mortgage that encompassed my life for so much of July. So much of July. Can keep the futon if it's hard to part with. I mean, I can, but then the problem is that it's just one of those like there's no good solution because there's like an obvious solution and there's an emotional solution, and neither one is completely correct. Hooray for financial support. Thank you, Demolition. Thank you for that. You want one of these? Or you want the other one? Ahoy to you, Alcadius. Welcome. As the stream title suggests, I've changed the room a little bit. I did because this view accommodates some amount of the couch, which encompasses like genuinely like 2/3 of that wall, which is somewhat problematic. I was like, I should put top of couch friends there. I probably should have put Squidbeard up. I know where he is, I just didn't do it. As long as they play the song, their ice cream trucks. Oh yeah. That's a great point to mention because classically, of course, an ice cream truck does play a fun little jingle to attract attention. You know that it's an ice cream truck and not like a taco truck. I don't know, but this one was playing Home on the Range, which felt like a very weird choice to me. Not like an insane choice. It feels like it's within the domain of the sort of like royalty-free music, but played as if on a wonky player piano that is sort of indicative of an ice cream truck. But it's just like, I don't know, that just felt weird to me. That didn't scream ice cream truck as much as, I don't know, what is the quintessential ice cream truck song? I'm sure there is one, and it's not coming to mind because all I can think of is Home on the Range. What other trucks can we do this with? I mean, we could replace emergency response vehicle sirens with music. I do feel like there would be a tremendous amount of difficulty and complication from doing so. Pop Goes the Weasel has to be the one, right? You're definitely correct about that, Cotillion. Demolition, are you suggesting Sandstorm by Darude as a ice cream truck jingle? Because I gotta say I'm completely on board with that. I feel like it may not be recognizable, but I feel like it's one of those things that would creep up on you, that you would like do it, and then like someone would be like in their house like, Echo says over here it's usually the sun has got its hat on. What is that? I don't know if I've ever heard of that. That it sounds very British in fairness, so it may just be like I mean, like honestly, do you know what home on the range is? Because like I wouldn't expect you to. It's like an extremely American folk thing. So some questions while people ponder and respond to that in chat. One is what should we play today? If something, I presume we'll play something because I haven't spent like a whole hour talking about the logistics of being in Florida. Two is just I don't know. I don't know. This could be a stupid thing to ask at all, but what is chat's level of emotional attachment to the futon? I mean, it is. I'm strongly leaning towards like really realistically. I think I need to get rid of it. It does make me sad, but like also, I don't know that it was the point so much as it was a vessel to display the stuffed animals, which are sort of the point. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I do genuinely feel like it served its purpose. I mean, it was like the first piece of furniture I think that I had in the old apartment, and it was well used for many years in ways beyond probably its intention. It doesn't really match the color scheme, and it is enormous. But like also, I hate. Here's a fun fact about Vasco that's like truly insane. I won't pretend that it isn't. I hate endings, which like I think normal people would say that they like hate goodbyes, and that's like a normal equivalent. But I hate endings. If I watch the series finale of a TV show I've never seen before, it bums me out. Like it doesn't make any sense. There's no shot I'm painting these walls. For one, there's kind of a uniform color scheme to the house because it was done as a flip, and that's kind of like a thing. But like, I also just happen to like it. Is kind of like light gray, and like another insane fact about Vasco is he really likes light gray as a color. Have not finished numerous shows and games for that reason. I definitely have severely prolonged watching the ends of certain series for that reason. I think most of them I've done now, except The Expanse. I still haven't watched the last season of The Expanse, which I should do so that then we can play the Telltale Expanse game on stream. Is like a real consideration. But like, there were like three or four for like years that I like didn't I can't think of any of them now, but like there were several. And then like during the pandemic, I watched like all of them because there's like you couldn't do anything else. What were you gonna do? Expanse is ending well good. You know they had 1 to 3 more seasons still in the bank because of the books. You mean? Yeah, I don't know much about the books other than they exist. I don't. I mean, I don't think that the reason for ending it prematurely was because Amazon's evil. There's so many things that you could blame that on, but my understanding was that like the creative folks were sort of like, we are not sure that we could pull off the implied time jump that would be required to make that work. Nico says, I'll get around to watching Twin Peaks season 3 eventually, so don't spoil that. I haven't seen it either, so definitely don't spoil that. I've watched all of Twin Peaks season 1, and I was so crazy excited about it. Like around the time I started college, I just like found it for the first time, and we had like I tried to buy all of it, but for some reason like the pilot wasn't available in the DVD set. So I think for like my birthday one year, my dad tracked down like a Korean bootleg of it or something, which like it was entirely in English and like normal, but like the DVD like definitely came from like an Asian country or something. Um I to this day I have no idea where that came from. Might have been my mom who did that, but like for some reason I think my dad did that. Um but like yeah, I don't think I ever got around to finishing season 2 because I kept trying to marathon it and it's like so like it's hard. It's not like impossible. It's just like a lot. Sound especially good today. Oh, I don't think anyone's ever said that. Thank you. I moved the mic so the microphone was like God, I have no sense of space. It was like over here on the desk to my left. Yes, you could see it yesterday. I was like watching it back and I was kind of doing that thing while I was playing the game. That was like that moment in Singing in the Rain where they're like first trying to understand how talkies work. And there's like a woman with like an enormous like pearl necklace on, and like she and like a villainous character are like sitting very close together, and she's saying like no, 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 and like shaking her head, and like when she's like talking and like doing that, it's just like and then like when she like faces the microphone, it's like too loud. It was I was like doing that, and like no one's here to care, but like so I moved it. Basically, what I did is I moved it in such a way that I think it's like picking up my voice normally if I just like talk to you, like I would be inclined to do. But now it's sort of off on the far side. So like if I'm focused on second monitor, which is where I kind of have game by default, then it should still pick me up. That's the idea. Like I said, season 2 of Twin Peaks was mostly a slog because the creator had to leave until the final episodes. That could be a factor. I don't remember that. Not that I question that, I just don't remember that fact. Um, no one has indicated a game. The choices are pretty much the same as yesterday. We could do Cobalt Core, we could do Slay the Spire, we could do Dwarf Romantic, we could do Murder by Numbers. I feel like I don't strongly endorse that because we haven't done a nonogram in a long time, and the only ones left are supposed to be super hard. Like Dicey Dungeon, and like technically there's other stuff on here, but I don't think any of it is particularly playable. Um, Also, one thing that I wanted to ask about is now I'm in a new time zone, and yesterday demonstrated for both myself and my mom that like In East Coast time zone, you're definitely more aware of what time it is at the end of the stream, which has been true for some of you all along. There's some room for like adjustment. I mean, feasibly, we could like rework the whole schedule. I don't think I'm inclined to jump right in and do that. No, we're. I don't think. I think we're like halfway to getting all the endings for people in Cobalt, and I presume. Well, also, I think there's like a whole character we don't have, and it's not clear to me how to get them. So like we can work through that if that's what. Like, listen, I'm totally down to like play Cobalt Core until we're done with it. People seemed like to lose interest when I first started playing, and we moved on to other stuff, and then I brought it back because of the stuff that was on my computer was the thing that felt like it made the most sense to like play until I had to move. Um, but like, yeah, so you know, like we could definitely move streams earlier. I don't think it would make very much sense to move them later, especially now. If there are other times or days, we can certainly discuss them. I'm happy to discuss those adjustments as a function of an entirely new time zone. I mean, they probably affect my mom and Neko more than other people. Free copy of the Telos Principle? Yeah, I guess if it's really free. I have seen like a moderate amount of Talos Principle streamed by someone like around the time it came out, and it seems like a really cool game. And I know it's one of your favorites. I have a theory that I haven't tested yet, which is it had only occurred to me like a few weeks ago that possibly one of the reasons why I've struggled to stream certain games that like I think my graphics card is capable of running is because it was like struggling to scale them to TV size, which like maybe should have been obvious, but I'm kind of an idiot. Echo says, I like the current stream schedule as it is. Can't imagine not being up for 2 a.m. for a Vasco stream. Rob says, I'll be fine. Don't change anything on my account. Well, maybe we'll leave it for now. I'm somewhat interested in like maybe moving it up like 1 hour because, and the reasoning is simply like if I did start an hour earlier, then the like 3 to 4 hour window that I normally stream in would still like typically end before it's tomorrow. Like a 4 hour stream would run to midnight, and like somehow mentally that like makes more sense to me. But like we'll see. We'll play around with it a little bit. Maybe something around like Halloween or something. If I figure out what to be streaming, then we'll like start a little bit earlier and as like a test and see how that works. But you love finishing a stream in the same day as me? I don't know that I have strong feelings about that. Also, I'm pretty sure that blip was Devilish in gifting me that, so thank you for the presumed Talos Principle. I should pay attention more. But yeah, that's like a test I should do at some point. Like, I don't know what other things like need to be tested live, but like we should probably do some kind of like some sort of just like general troubleshooting stream and like see if we can with like 2 monitors and not a fairly large television if streaming stuff that felt like it should be possible is more possible now. I'll tell you this, it's definitely easier to move Cobalt Core over to the second monitor here than it was to move it on the TV. That made my computer so mad every time. I don't even think I don't even think with the 2 monitors it does the weird thing it used to where like if I would make it not full screen and move it over and then try to touch it ever again, like it would just give you that like top Windows bar and like wouldn't display an actual full window or anything. Was the TV displaying at an unusual resolution? Not to my knowledge. The basis of this theory is simply that it was trying to scale large, but yeah, I mean maybe that processing is supposed to happen internal to the TV. I did literally just confess to being an idiot, so like you can't get mad at me. You're like legally not allowed. Well, it seems like the consensus is probably Cobalt Core, unless I'm mistaken. I'll give you a minute to dissent if you feel strongly. It's really certain you're like 60% of both the Plants Kids stream libraries at this point. That's like reasonably possible for me at the very least. I honestly don't buy that many games on Steam compared to most people. Like I don't usually go in on like the sales that sort of get other streamers and people and whatever. Um, I probably should. Farthest thing from an idiot. Nah, that's definitely not true. You've seen me stream. You know that's not true. My mom's too nice to say otherwise, but like, I mean, come on. uh, oh, hey, here's a fun fact. Today, I had some kids on my lawn for the first time, and I shook my fist at them and told me about how in my day I had to walk uphill both ways in the snow to get to school, and we didn't have phones in our pocket, and people weren't allowed to carry calculators all the time. Almost none of that is true, but there was a point where my mom was gonna drive something over to my house, and I heard a noise outside. I was like, "Oh, maybe that's my mom's car door closing." And in fact, what it was three kids from somewhere in the neighborhood playing volleyball in the street without a net, which was a unique thing. It was a spectacle of sorts. Um, I don't know why that was happening. It was of interest. The magical land of Pennsylvania. Yeah, one of the funny things about Pennsylvania is that, like many other things, like the whole state is just like named after. It's just like named after one rich guy, William Penn, and like the school district I went to was like also named after that same rich guy, and like a bunch of stuff in the state of Pennsylvania is just like named after a super rich guy. I have no concept of how rich he was compared to like that time frame, but I presume like super duper duper rich because like he got like a lot of stuff named after him. He wasn't like a king or nothing. Nego says, you always talk about how unbearably hot the atmosphere is where you live. So honestly, I don't think you'd ever seen snow. Oh no, like there was snow in Pennsylvania. It's not, there's places in the United States that are like known for getting snow, like Boston and Chicago and like Alaska. But like no, like Pennsylvania is a fairly temperate climate. So like there's definitely snow there. We had like snow days and all that jazz. If I recall correctly, inflation adjusted Carnegie would be in the 17 to 20 trillion range. That's like too many. That's too many. All right. Well, I don't think. I mean, I know Neko is most interested in Dwarf, but I still think consensus is Cobalt Core. Um, Gotta remember to show you the thing that I sort of intended to show yesterday with one of the Pokemon plush, which I did not remember to do. I have built snowmen and sledded down hills. The music for Cobalt Core took a second to kick in. I got really worried. I thought something broke. By the way, how do you like the lighting? Because the lamp is actually on again. The lamp that everyone hated. I managed to frame it out so you don't get the hot spot. But like I do think that the backfill from the corner helps a little bit. I mean, Naomi is like kind of radioactive back there, but like I think it's an improvement from yesterday. Do I miss snow? Nah. I know for sure my mom doesn't. She mentions it frequently. It was one of the things she liked about moving to California, and she was pleased that moving to Florida would also mean not snow. Something that I didn't really appreciate is that apparently, like, Florida gets, like, a decent amount of hail. I think I haven't really fully appreciated the weather conditions that make hail common in a place. because like there are car dealerships and like auto body shops around here that just like really loudly proclaim that they fix hail damage. I'm like, I didn't like think that. I didn't think we cared. Is it easier to see tech now that you're on the East Coast? I mean, arguably. I mean, it's still a flight, but it would be, I'd guess, something like a... My mom might remember this better than I do. I've done flights from, like, roughly the area where Tech lives to Florida, but it's been, like, a lot of years. I'd say it's probably something like, somewhere between, like, a 2 and 4 hour flight. Probably somewhere in the middle. As opposed to, like, essentially, like, a 6-hour flight to go cross-country, which always sucks. Like, it's just never good. Let's see, you're a pinch too close to the monitor. So an off light would help. I mean, I just don't have that many resources right now. But also, like... I just, like, my desk isn't deep enough that, like, I think I can get that much separation between me and the monitor. I could, like, affix a light to the wall, which is a thing I've thought about doing, but it's something I probably wouldn't do until I felt more confident that the desk was in its final position. I'm already just, like, not entirely sure about all this. Does the new setup get rid of the weird audio piece that failed frequently and also required you to have 2 sets of headphones? Yes! That's a great question. Yes, it does, in multiple ways. So, just for posterity, the reason why I had 2 sets of headphones was because I was feeding... When I was, like, using consoles for games instead of streaming them directly for the computer, which was happening, like, probably, like, 60% of the time or something on average, I was having those go directly to the TV so that, like, I could, you know... The way it was routed was so that I could use the consoles that way if I wasn't streaming, but then, like, with a minor adjustment, I could stream directly from them, like, all in the same place. But because I was doing that, and also because I was using the TV as a second monitor... like, to get the audio from the TV without just, like, having the speakers, like, active in the room and, like, detectable by the microphone and would create, like, echo and, like, bad things that would be really annoying for you, the viewer. Like, I had a second set of headphones that pulled that audio directly, essentially, from the console game. And the problem piece was just this miserable, crappy, like, headphones extender cable I got that just, like, practically, like, immediately started, like, not having perfect contacts. And so, like, it would just occasionally decide to stop just sending audio, which is the literal only thing it's supposed to do. Nico says, it's very rare there's ever enough snow in the UK to build a snowman. In hillier towns, you can get a lot of snow. I mean, I imagine there's probably, like, parts up north that might get snow. Just because, like, the upper parts of the UK are, like, pretty far north, aren't they? But, like, not where you are, obviously. Nico took a 30-minute flight to London and then a 10.5-hour flight to DC and then a 7-hour train ride to Albany. God, that's planes, trains, and automobiles practically, but like on just on a scale that I'm just not prepared to grapple with. That's quite a lot. I missed this earlier. Demolition asked, you ready for an offshore hurricane weather? I mean, like literally, I basically landed in it. I was referencing Hurricane Debbie yesterday. Like they literally delayed my parents' closing on their house because of a hurricane. It was like a Category 1 hurricane, but like it was a hurricane, and there was storming here because of it. Like we're already in it. We are on the cruise. All right, it's probably ridiculous to come on, kick in. I know you want to. Do I have to click into the... I believe it. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why that took so long. It's fine. Yeah, let's just say I'm like playing a little fast and loose with what I'm testing and what I'm not and whatever. I'm pretty proud of myself for figuring out what should be a really obvious trick here, which I think is working, but you can let me know. Is that I have positioned my webcam directly above the chat window, so when I'm reading it, it probably looks at least vaguely like I'm looking directly at you. Maybe not directly at you, but, you know, like conversationally in your direction. Anyway, Cobalt Core. We could play some. Oh, that's right. We got to, like, the start of Zone 3. By the way, music volume for you, what's that feeling like? We good with that? For some reason, and this hasn't been true in the past, and I made none adjustments, when I was editing yesterday's stream, it was like, it felt insanely loud. I think I ended up doing, like, minus 9 decibels on it. Which, like, normally it's, like, 3. Oh, you're welcome, Neko. I'm glad that I could assist in the process. Like, that was just such a horrible story. It was making me upset that it existed. I'm glad that it was not... that your resolve did not need to be tested. Alright, so, just to recap, we were streaming Cobalt Core yesterday. We ended mid-run because we got a late start. What are we doing? Expensive cards deck. We're doing some weird deck where some cards cost 0, some cards cost 3, and then we got some 1s. It's a little janky, to be honest. It's been doing the trick, though. We're relatively defensively oriented because we have both payback, which allows us to fire our cannons at the opposing ship when they hit us and gives us some shield because we upgraded it. And also parry, which does a bunch of damage to them if their cannons are threatening us with a bunch of damage. So, like, it's helpful to have you know, defensive capabilities with that intention, because, like, you kind of want them to shoot you for a bunch, but if you don't kill them in one hit, which even with parry it can be difficult to do, then you curseplode. And then lastly, we have Acid Cannon, which also favors a defensive style because you apply effectively like a poison type status to them and they gradually take damage. So the longer you stay alive, the more damage they take, even if you're not drawing like damaging attack cards. And so yeah, we got to the third sector. We're trying to rack up some memories. You all give some thought to, I think we'll probably finish this and at least start another run. You let me know if you have particular characters that you want in mind. We've gotten max memories for like 2 characters, and we have like 2 out of 3 for like a couple, and then we have like a bunch with like no memories. So that's what we're working with. I guess we'll start with this 0 cost shard, which could give us a 1 cost shard. This feels like it might be a good payback turn, because we could move 1 so our cannon is face... Oh no, wait a minute. We just got war mode. That was like the thing... We got this artifact from like the very end of Sector 2. So we can spend our like extra energy from the first turn to activate both of our cannons and then payback, and then they'll hit us twice and we'll hit them 4 times. Although doing that does sacrifice hitting the weak spot. So now we have to do calculus or trigonometry or something. If I was to move left and simply retaliate... Well, no, I guess then 2 cannons wouldn't hit me. Yeah, there's like none ways for this ship to get hit by both of their cannons and retaliate against their weak spot. So I think that math means that war mode is probably the best I'm doing. I think I'm fine with that. Letters! Hooray, letters! Or rather, yay, letters. It's good to see you. How you doing? Also, anytime that like anyone like shouts a name that ends with like a Y sound or an O sound, I think of Virtue's Last Reward and that scene that repeats endlessly where Zero is like, Siggy! Fido! It's just like etched into my soul. That's a thing that we could do. That's like a hashtag Squirtle squad goal, is to like get the new house setup situated in a way that I'm sufficiently happy to do the second Zero Escape game on stream finally. Yeah, you know where it's at, letters. You get me. Alright, so I think I've talked myself into war mode, get hit, wreck them in return. How you doing, letters? Well, I blasted through some number of shields, and I get free move. Demolition, thank you for the gift subs to letters, and to Doonboggle, Proteus Zan, and Jopacoa. And also, gosh, there was one earlier I didn't properly shout out. It's gone. I'd have to click into like a whole other tab. It was to Miss Toasty. Thank you for the gift to Miss Toasty as well. Doing great. Hope the move went well. I mean, I'm going to say that cosmically, in the scheme of things, it went great. But on a micro level, it was really horrible and an extremely bad experience that I don't wish on anyone. The end result's pretty good. I'm quite happy here. The house has been great so far. I genuinely feel like it's a much nicer house than I should be able to afford. And I have a house, which is exciting for me. But, like, yeah, boy, getting a mortgage and dealing with my particular real estate agent and some other things was just, like, truly a nightmare. Truly just absolutely terrible. And yeah, moving to another state is rough. We did move cross-country from California to Florida, and my dad paid for the moving services for both, like, our belongings, like furniture and all the stuff in my apartment and their house, and also our cars to go cross-country. And I got a glimpse at what one of those checks looked like, and it was a lot. How many times have you moved, letters? I mean, I've moved a few times, but like most of them were like pretty small scale. Like when I was a kid, we moved houses in Pennsylvania, and then, you know, like I moved to college sort of back and forth with like, you know, like a dorm room's worth of belongings, and then like moved roughly that amount of belongings to California. And then in California, I moved like 3 or 4 times. I don't want to think about them. The moves all make me unhappy. But like I moved several times the first few years I was there for like various reasons, and they were all stupid and bad, and I hated them. But like still, it was like mostly like a similar amount of possessions. And then, you know, like I finally got situation at that like Doomscape apartment that you all know and love, and was there for like a decade and gradually accumulated like, I don't know, like 1,000 Squishmallows and some other stuff. And yeah, that move, that was a lot. And that was 3,000 miles. Born in California, moved to Pennsylvania for undergrad, moved back to CA for grad, moved to PA for now ex-partner's undergrad, moved back to CA for work. Wow, we've been in kind of like a similar zone for a long time, huh? But like, only cross-country moves is like severe. Like, that's rough. I'm sorry that you've done that many times. Hopefully at least some of those have been the kind of small-scale moves I was talking about. Alright, so now I should play some game. So like, we got Payback active, so if we can tank their hits, that's cool. Not looking great at the moment. We have like non-defensive cards. We have like a bunch of extra movement. Airship is like also small, so like war mode's probably not like super useful right now. Although we could just like... Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't war mode like copy... Doesn't war mode like copy effects from the shot? I mean, like, we no longer have... We obviously didn't draw battery this turn because it would do something, and if you did catch the start of this run, you know that our deck contains battery, which gives you, like, 2 energy on the turn you play it, and in almost none instance have we drawn it when it would be even remotely useful. We normally draw it with, like, 0-cost cards or, like, one thing that costs 1. It's been very annoying. So with the lack of defensive cards, this turn is probably going to be pretty awkward. I think our best bet might be... like, lunge to the right, multi-shot move? Is that correct? I mean, that does more damage. If we lunge to the left, we have to use less evasion. I think that's arguably better here. But I would also have to toggle our cannon for that. We have shield. It's fine. Hull. We do have hull. I forget. Do we have things that heal us? I think we might have picked up one, like, incidentally without trying. I know we saw at least a couple, but I don't remember if we ended up with any of them. No, we got a thing where, like, the first time we take damage, we do more damage. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I think it's like lunge, multi-shot, move. It's like a really underwhelming turn, but it makes me less dead than other things. Oh, hey, we got a chip shot. Neat. Now they're out of shield and I'm out of trouble for a hot second. Hey, look, it's extra battery and like 2 cards that cost 1. Hooray for me. I mean, I guess at least in this instance with war mode... No, that's still like a total of 3 energy. God, battery's been so bum. It's so bum. I was gonna say bummer, and it didn't come out conjugated correctly, so it's just bum. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're playing war mode because we have like an abundance of energy and nothing to do. Now, this does always trip me up. If I fire block shot twice, do I get 2 temp shield? Is that how things work? Also, now that I've committed to this, I have no chance of blocking anything, and I'm definitely taking some serious damage. Unless I, like, commit myself to, like, a lot of evasion. No. There's some minor distinction that's always lost on me of, like, it has to be, like, in the same row as the damage, because then that effect is associated with the ship being hit. This is definitely a game where, like, reading the card doesn't, like, always explain the card. God, I haven't played enough Magic this year. Also, like, my Magic collection is, like, it's so messed up. Like, it's all accounted for. I even found my missing from the vaults that I knew was in my old apartment, and I misplaced, like, badly. It had my, like, lone copy of Mox Diamond in it, which I wanted to put in my Nickel Bullet stack. Bloomberg has been fairly enjoyable. It looks good. Actually, it actually kind of feels flavor-wise like Magic. That's such like a sick burn and also a great compliment all at the same time. It's very fun. I saw some tweet today where someone was like, I played Magic the Gathering for the first time, and someone was like, I summon Gimli and attack, I don't know, some character from like Assassin's Creed or something, and then like referenced the D&D character, and they're like, this game is just like pattern recognition for millennials or something, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can't entirely argue that. It's not the core point of the game, but like, it's sort of where we're at now. And, you know, I can't say that I'm like one of those purists who's like played none Universes Beyond cards or whatever. I definitely ordered the Monty Python Secret Layers because they made me smile. Just that dismember with like the flavor text from the Black Knight, that's good stuff. As opposed to Yeehaw Magic or Whodunit Magic. Those are also, I mean, letters are just spot on. That's all accurate. I have to say, like, I haven't played Limited in a while. But like, boy, was I not at all invested in Thunder Junction. Like, that concept sounded kind of cool, and then, like, the second they started spoiling stuff, it was just like, it's just, like, legendary creatures from all of the known Magic universe exploiting, like, the thing that you narratively most dislike about modern Magic to pander to casual players. It's like, I got nothing against casual players, but, like, as, like, a Vorthos who cares about, like, the integrity of, like, story or whatever... However you want to put it, like, I don't like the Omen Pats, and I don't like a set where we're just, like, casually throwing, like, a ton of legendary characters together because they want people to clap. Yeah, I mean, I found out after the fact that it was... Here's a fun fact about Vasco letters, is that Um, anytime there's like a difficult to get limited run magic thing, I can like obtain it with no effort. Like anytime I've ever tried to do that, no matter how stupid the process is, I have obtained the thing. Including, what was that thing called? When like the when War of the Spark came out and they were doing those like masterpiece sets, and the one for War of the Spark was like in like crazy hot demand, and there was the whole backlash where like they migrated the ordering system to like the Hasbro website, and like it didn't work for anyone, and they had to like make this weird apology where they sent like anyone who had attempted to make an order like an entire uncut foil sheet of cards from War of the Spark. Yeah, I have that set. I just got it normally without going to the secondary market. But like, yeah, I like ordered the Mayan Python secret layer, and it was more trouble than I've ever had with a normal secret layer. And I thought that was because it took me a minute to like log into my Wizard's credentials or whatever, and I thought like I'd screwed myself. But yeah, I got it in the end, and then like I went online later and people were super mad about it, and I'm like, it's another one of those things that I'm blessed about. That's because a hidden stat for acquiring rare items. Like, I've always had high variance luck. I do like to harp on the negative luck, my ability to lose coin flips like infinitely, but like there is another side to that coin, and it looks like me getting like all the rare magic cards that I ever attempt to get. We're following yesterday's trend of anytime I have like a turn that looks terrible, I just talk for a really long time instead of making decisions that make me unhappy. I think I would rather sidestep, save my evade, and take one hull damage than do other things. This should also, yeah, now I have like extra damage for one turn. So let's do things that cost 0. Shard, dodge. Don't really need to sidestep. I have enough energy to shoot him a bunch. It will generate 2 shields. That's not a lot of shields. So I can do, if I spend all my energy and go to war mode so both of my cannons are active, and then both of my cannons shoot twice, then I will do 8 damage to them, putting them at 11 hull? I don't like that. I wish their ship was like a little wider. Here's a fun question. I don't know that this applies to many people in chat, because I sort of eschewed Magic Arena a long time ago, and not necessarily all of the regulars are invested in Magic. But I know like Cotillion is, and I know Letters is. Do people are people aware of what their rarest card is? This was always like a plot point in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, where like, you know, in like the Battle City series, like you would wager your rarest card against your opponents, and it was winner take all. And then the idea is that like by the finals, like those people would have like the sweetest decks of all time by having everyone's rare cards, which is like cool for an anime and would be horrible in real life. But like I've sort of recently become aware of what my rarest cards are, and it was of interest to me. Is it the Squirrel? I've heard of the Squirrel deck, yet never seen a Squirrel card. I mean, I have like a pretty rare set of Squirrel-related Magic cards. They're probably not close to my rarest, though. They're needlessly expensive. Yeah, my mom is aware of it. I recently told her after having the revelation myself. Mainly pay attention to rarity when using wild cards. Otherwise, it's about utility. That's like, see, that's the thing. I think that's like totally normal. But like, there are people out there who like fixate on that sort of thing. And for me, it's like, I've always been aware that I have cards that are rare or expensive or whatever. But like the card I mentioned earlier, the Mox Diamond from the Vault's Relics, I think that one is called. I recently became aware that that's like a $800 individual magic card, and that's a big number. I also happen to know what my second rarest, or at least my interpretation of rarest, I'm equating like disproportionate value of card to rarity. That may not strictly be true. It's not even like a proper Mox. Like OG Moxen or Moxes, I've heard people use both plurals. Like, you know, they're from Magic's oldest set and they're rare, and to have one in like even remotely good condition, like those are crazy expensive. But like Mox Diamond was like, I don't actually remember what set it first came out in, but the from the vault printing like violated the reserve list. It's like the only time that Wizards has ever done that, and I wasn't really aware of what that meant at the time that I got one of those sets, which were another one of those like weird high demand rare Magic products. And it was like getting those was like a big to do back in the day, but I got one, and yeah, because like it's on the reserve list, but also it's like a weird foil that like shouldn't exist. Like that particular printing is just like obscene. But my mom got me some packs earlier this year that also contained like an alt art, full art, weird foil variant from Wilds of Eldraine of Rhystic Study, with like anime mermaid art, and it's like a $600 card. I'm like, I didn't know you could get a $600 card out of a single booster pack, and now I do. So that's my humble brag. Those are my most exciting cards that I own, probably. I have lots of cards I like, but those are big numbers. Yeah, people really like those anime arts. Like those scale like crazy fast. Like I looked into it a little bit when I made the discovery of how intense that card was, and like even without going to like full like weird foiling process or like full art or anything, just like anime alt art is very expensive. I'm not sure I want to take like 1 million more damage, but I want to shoot him. You understand the dilemma. I think the correct thing to do is probably like war mode, double block shot, just move so I only get hit by one. It's still not very good, but like I have to kill this thing eventually. It keeps getting new shield. What's the easiest way to dodge one? Probably just left one? Oh, that's right. I was forgetting the temp shield. I only take like 1 core damage. Oh, and that moved it my cannon opposite their weak spot, so that's fun. If I... What are we at? 9? So if I multi-shot twice, that's like mostly them dead, just to start with. But that does take a lot of energy. But I did finally draw a battery. The most expensive card you own is a Misty Rainforest from Modern Horizons 2. Misty Rainforest is no joke. That's a good card. Another fun humble brag fact about Vasco. I'm like 1 million years old, so I was playing Magic when the first Zendikar set came out, which is when they introduced that cycle of fetch lands. The first pack I ever opened in a Zendikar draft contained a foiled Scalding Tarn, which is the red-blue one, which are like my favorite color pair. And I was like, I don't need to look at the rest of this pack. I don't think I can kill them, which is problematic. Well, I guess I have battery to help a little bit. So I can war mode, and then I can like sidestep, and then I can multi-shot. No, hang on, I still have the power boost. I think I'm doing my math wrong. If I multi-shot one time, that's 4 damage. If I have both cannons, that's 8 damage. No, that math is correct. They're at 9. That was what I was figuring would happen. I promise to stop humble bragging. Does anyone want to ask an embarrassing question of Vasco to equalize karma or something? Why would I do that? I have sidestep. Oh, sick. I don't have to retaliate because that managed to move me. Or not move me. It was a, despite the fact it was a movement card, it triggered the, like, play attack cards. Letter says, one of my favorite pack memories is placing third in a modern tournament, winning a pack of Origins, and pulling Flip Chase. Oh, that's awesome! You may not know this about me. I love Flip Planeswalkers. I have managed to get none of them out of Modern Horizons 3, which has been a bummer. I don't want any of these cards. None of them is free or expensive or does defensive things at a reasonable rate. I mean, I guess arguably Mage Hand does, but I already cut Mage Hand from my deck because it wasn't good enough. Alright, multiple bosses for maximum artifacts. It also gets me multiple shops. That feels pretty good. Crystal Shard. Payback's good on turn 1. Another extremely small ship that I can't make use of the double cannons against, which is great. I love that for me. What am I doing here? So they want to move left. So if I flip my cannon to the right and then I lunge to the left, I will like shoot them and then they'll scoot out of the way. So my cannon would be here, it would shoot them, it moves them to clearance, so then their furthest right point would be here, but my furthest left point would be over here. But then I think I'd be facing both of their attacks. But I would still have energy because this is the first turn and I have an artifact that gives me energy on the first turn that I could pay back, which would mean I would have enough shield to stop all the damage, and I would take... What is the effect this does? I don't remember. It's just clever enough that I feel obliged to do it, but I don't actually think it's good. It's like really clever, but it's not great. It's also possible I've done this math wrong. Let's see what happens. No, that's about right. Oh, but I don't actually... No, that's fine, because I didn't want to spend energy on it. So I would pay back to get max shield, take 4 damage, and I would shoot them twice. It's probably about as good as the first turn is getting with this awkward build. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a good build, but I do think it's an awkward build. I appreciate that they burned their evade status right away. I don't like how many shields they have. Does this thing get more damage over time, or is 6 like the best I can hope for? I honestly think 6 might be the best I can hope for. Oh, I can't move. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. It would be nice if I could extra battery war mode and hit them with 2 parries. Obviously, though, the universe is conspired against that because it wants all turns where I draw extra battery to be embarrassing for me. Hey, letters. What letter are you up to on your letter-themed playthrough of your Steam library? I know I have not really been able to catch streams very often, but I am curious about how your progress is going. I can't tell if that's I or L. I think that's capital I. Into the breach. There we go. Question answered. Into the breach. Do I know that one? I don't know if I know that one. So we can't move unless we move twice, which is bad. Turn-based tactics game. What's funny is, like, I would say that, like, generally speaking, I'm not particularly interested in tactics games, and yet two of my favorite games of all time are arguably tactical RPGs. Which, for the record, are Resonance of Fate and Eternal Sonata. Resonance of Fate, I think, is inarguably a tactics game. I think people would not necessarily describe Eternal Sonata as a tactics game, but it is. It is also the game where anime Frederick Francois Chopin has a fever dream where he befriends a bunch of kids to incite a rebellion against a fictional government. Square Tactics Time Traveling Mechs? That's a pretty good sell. You have a way with words, letters. Have a bit of regret for never finishing Eternal Sonata. You actually know what that game is? That's very impressive to me. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. The end to Eternal Sonata is really something to behold. Yeah, I don't begrudge you not finishing RPGs due to lack of patience with them. Generally, they are too long as a category. Even ones I really like, I often struggle with or don't finish myself. That's fair. It's an RPG with Chopin. I should expect you to know it. But man, I love it so much. As a music history major, how did you feel about whatever percentage of the quasi-historical slideshows that game presents? Because that's, to me, that's like a point of contention with the game, is like, I love that it's doing like history in an RPG. Like, I think that's great and weird and bizarre and I love it. But like, somewhere around like the halfway mark of the game, all of the remaining like historical slideshows degrade into like, it's possible that Chopin didn't like vegetables or something. Like, they're all just like speculation, to the point that I insisted that the Renegade Constabulary channel do a bit about that for April Fool's Day one year, and it's one of my favorite things we ever did. Even though I'm pretty sure this is true that no one liked it at all or thought it was funny. But I think it was great. I don't want to get hit for 6, but I have like almost none shield options. Can you upgrade extra battery to do like 3 charge? I don't think so. I think it can do 2 and like draw a card, or like 2 and an energy next turn. I mean, I think I'm better off blocking. I mean, I guess I could... Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna do a lot better. I think I parry, battery... Yeah, I think I just play everything. But then I have to spend 2 movement to reduce damage to me to like 2. Then I at least shoot him again. So I get a move, get a draw. Bloodshot by itself don't impress me much. So I think I block, and do I spend all of my evade to get out of the way? Or do I spend 1 evade to move left and take 1 total damage? I should endeavor to take less damage. Stop shooting missiles at me. Please. I think this is a block shot, flip cannon, lunge right turn, which leaves me with 1 energy with which to polish crystal. Block shot number 2. I don't think realistically that can change anything because I don't have energy. I'm having a thought though. No, I think this thought is bad. I think the thing I want to do is simply flip this cannon this way so the left side is armored. Lunge to the right, destroy the stupid homing missile. Yeah, the homing missiles are so annoying. They're like one of the more annoying things that you encounter on a semi-regular basis. They get me more often than like most things. Other than the evasion ability, these guys usually give me a lot of trouble. Neko, you never finished Eternal Sonata either? Made a co-op with Kohei and had fun. The role of being a cameraman with Beat and Kohei kept killing bosses without giving me a chance to participate, so I stopped playing together. Aw, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that. The thing is, part of me wants to war mode to have 2 cannons, lunge to like shoot the ship and the missile, which I think would work. But you may notice that mathematically that's not possible. So I think what we do is block shot, toggle cannon, lunge right. So now we take none damage, which I guess is excessive, I don't know. Shard? Man, war mode is so useless against this like 3 pixel wide ship. And I don't have enough... Well, I guess I could draw into an attack? No. No. So I guess it's just... sidestep, multi-shot. Oh. I sidestep. Why did I move 2? Well, I'm stupid, so that's the end of that turn. Draw, evade, do nothing, draw. Great, thank you for drawing the acid cannon when I finally can't do anything with it. Let's just lunge. Oh, that's actually pretty bad, the way that worked out. Toggle, shoot, toggle, sidestep, evade, shard, toggle, shoot. Dang it, dang it. Hold on, no. If I had been paying attention, I could have won this turn, but I keep not noticing when they put up that status, because, like, for some reason it didn't matter for, like, 3 consecutive turns. I mean, I guess I might as well shoot them and then just toggle and then block. Shard. Alright, I should be a bad enough dude for this. Can I finally not screw it up by just being aware of this? Shoot. And yeah, now they move to where the other cannon can hit, because that's how this ship works. Oh, no worries, demolition. I figured everyone just tuned out because I was talking about magic for like a really long time. What's happening here? This card costs 0 and just like increases my killing power? Ooh, hang on. Glimmer shot? Lose all shard attack for each attack for 2 damage. I think this is the payoff for our stupid build. Our deck has 2 crystal shards in it, and we're always at maximum shard, and have, like, literally nothing to do with it. And now we have, like, a 1 energy thing that can do 6 damage, and with our stupid, like, Cannons Mark II, we can, like, fire it out of 2 cannons. I mean, I thought Escalate A was, like, a really good pick, but this is, like... We have to upgrade it so we can, like, draw it repeatedly. But, like, I think that's the play. This way. Yeah, shard time. Did you remember why you've sworn revenge on us? Not yet, but blowing you up might jog my memory. Dillian! How was today for me? Today was pretty good. I had lunch with my mom. The Saturday tradition has continued 3,000 miles from where we started at the Back to the Future Burger King. It was especially good. I have found, and I know how insane this sounds, because I mostly only eat, like, pre-made stuff that I, like, just heat up on the oven or something, or go to fast food restaurants, for the most part. But I have found that the food, since coming to Florida, has been exceptional in a way that I cannot quantify, because I'm a food idiot. Why is this game adorable and sad? I mean, that's its whole vibe. That's like its reason for being. What's happening here? I think this is a different build of this ship than I've ever seen before. Am I crazy? I don't feel like I've seen this billion shield, double status, weak cockpit, 3 pixel wide nonsense. That's a really sad looking parry, isn't it? Alright, hold on. I'm gonna polish my crystal. I know that's frowned upon in some circles. Let me get some shields. Boy, this is a bad starting hand. I mean, I might as well... Well, no. I haven't upgraded the Glimmer Shard yet, so I only get 1 use, and I probably shouldn't do it for 2. Everything tastes better now that you aren't drinking fart water. Well, okay, to be clear, I have never drank the fart water because it is fart water, and that is definitely enough of a deterrent that I won't drink it, which has been probably the biggest consistent problem in my life since, like, finally properly moving into my house. But, like, also the fart water isn't gone yet because I haven't managed to cycle all the hot water that was stored in the hot water heater thing. Where does this 2020 delivery box of donuts? That's a really big emote. Yeah, I'm trying desperately to use, like, too much hot water to cycle the system, but as a result of that, I really, really, really need to remember to get more salts. I need salts. Also, like, my description of the food quality predates me even discovering the fart water. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, the water supplied to my house has, like, a strong methane smell to it, so it is, like, literally fart water. What do I need the salt for? It's the alchemical component I have to add to the water purifier so that the fart water goes away once I get rid of all the stuff that's in reserve. Man, this turn stinks butt. I'm just gonna get a bunch of shield and be sad. Oh, yeah, this feels new. He expanded a number of them. What's Ion Storm do? The local nebula is sapping your shields. At the start of your turn, you and the enemy lose 2 shield. Wow. That's so extremely bad for my defensive build. It does explain how... Because I was going to say, I'm glad I, like, gained a bunch of shield last turn, and then I didn't have any shield, and I was like... this feels like a lunge, huh? I think we lunged left and disabled this cannon. But before we do that, because of the way we're positioning this turn, I don't think we can make effective use of war mode. So, like, multi-shot here. Probably shoot the same... No. We should... Well, does it matter if I disable this? It'll only disable the attack. The expansions are coming from the edges. I don't think that matters. So I think I should hit the weak spot here with block shot and then toggle the cannon back and then lunge to the left, which will disable the cannon that would be in range to fire at me. And then also, I guess, chip shot. This battery is so depressing. It's been so bad. Like, I got all these expensive cards and they just... the battery never does anything. Oh my god, same. Demolition fired off another 2020 emote, the stack of toilet paper with a bow tie on it. And Neko said, I got so mad at humanity over the needless toilet roll hoarding. I didn't understand that at all. It was making me completely insane. People were like, well, like, COVID is like a real concern and we all have to like socially distance and shelter at home and like not go out. And like somehow that translated in everyone's mind to like, I'll poop so much more than I normally would. I must hoard toilet paper. And I was just like, I like, why? What are you doing in your house differently now that would facilitate so much poop? Got some mosquitoes in my house again today because the door was open for like 3 minutes. Still lots of hand sanitizer and masks. Listen, I still wear my masks out. I was doing it today. One of my concerns about moving to Florida is I kind of thought that the political climate might be such that people would be like aggressive towards me about that. But to be honest, essentially the only bad experiences I've ever had about that were in Vegas earlier this year. We got accosted by like a really particularly aggressive weird dude just like on a sidewalk. I mean, if I had infinite shield, payback might be good here. I don't, and it's not. Yeah, mass some public transportation. Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm like maybe getting to a point where I'm considering like certain indoor places. It may not be necessary because I have gone to like restaurants and stuff, and like you're obviously taking the mask off to eat. Like I've honestly avoided playing like any Magic Limited format since Ikoria because like I haven't felt comfortable with my local game stores in California, like not masking because they're just like really cramped and dense. I don't really know. For one, I don't know if I have a local game store in Florida. I assume one exists. I don't know if it's actually local. I haven't looked into it. But like I don't know what that scene is like, or if it would also be cramped, or just like not a great place to do something like that. But like, just I don't know. I don't know when normalcy resumes, but like I have continued to mask and hand sanitize more aggressively than I had previously. Yeah, I genuinely don't understand mask ban legislation. I don't know what places that affected, but like anytime I ever heard of that, I'm like, I genuinely like, what? Are you gonna tell me I can't wear pants? Like it's effectively clothes for my safety. Like what? Like how can you legislate that? If I had battery, I could probably do something fun here. Obviously, I haven't drawn battery because that's not how game works. Yeah, like basically this whole fight just like dunks on the thing that my deck is doing. I think I'm just like acid cannon, like sidestep moving. Because then I'm taking none damage. Yeah, I don't want to be here. Wait, where's my parry? Can I draw that? Where's parry at? It would do like a lot of damage right now. I'd really like to have my parry. I actually have battery and like things I can do with it. I could like war mode acid cannon. Block shot? Is that lethal? It probably is. They're only at 6. That would do lethal. Alright. War mode. Battery. It's barely lethal. I could get a multi-shot. No, I already figured out what I'm doing with shards, and it's not you. Do I want multi-shot? It's kind of not what I'm doing, but I'm inexplicably drawn to multi-shot like a moth to a flame. Would it be good in my deck? Probably not. It wouldn't be bad. I don't think it would be good. I think I should skip this. No, I wanted to look at map. God, that wasn't even a boss. I think it's like a sign of good design that, like, when you lean really hard into a strategy, it's often, like, random enemies that are harder than bosses. But at the same time, it's very annoying because the bosses are still hard. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this. And then do boss. It's the buried guy. That was weird. Wait, that was really interesting. We just got some insight into the way the game is programmed. There was lag to war mode being added to our hand. And before that took place, our default mode was to have both cannons active. That was really curious. I don't know what that tells us, but it's interesting, isn't it? Let's play a bunch of stuff that costs 0 and generate shards and stuff. Yeah, I think the, like, subtext behind a lot of the people pushing for mask bans is, like, in some cases it was probably people trying to, like, what's the opposite of virtue signaling? Basically just, like, indicate that they were, like, of a political mindset that opposed public safety, which is, you know, like a cool talking point post 2020. But, like, I do generally think part of it was like bodies of authority, like, concerned about people hiding their identities and stuff. Vice signaling? Something like that. That's certainly close. Okay, what would I draw next turn in theory? Like payback or acid cannon? I mean, parry's obviously quite bad on the first turn. I could, like, war mode, lunge, block shot, but, like, when I shoot it, it's gonna wake up. If I was to do that, let's say I, like, moved over one and did block shot with war mode active. That would mean I would do 2-3 damage, and then if I lunged, I would not be on any weak spot. So then the correct order would be... So if I played war mode and then lunged to the right, I would do 3 damage, and then if I fired block shot, it would do 3 damage, but it's gonna gain a bunch of health when it wakes up. Does this thing threaten damage when it wakes up? Like, does it make more sense to, like... No, because I wouldn't be able to war mode. If I war moded and parried, I wouldn't be able to play any other cards, so it, like, wouldn't do anything. I don't know, I think that thing I described earlier is probably about as good as it gets. God, for a defensive build, we've been taking, like, an obscene amount of damage. Free shot, I guess. I mean, admittedly, war mode is a little antithetical to blocking, but I mean, like, I have all these block things that I just, like, never seem to draw, or the opponent has, like, a field ability that negates my defenses completely. That was my sleep in with the new times. You mean am I, like, super jet lagged? No, not at all. Because life has been jet lagging me for, like, weeks, so, like, just going to sleep whenever I feel like is fine. For a considerable amount of the past, like, month, my parents and I were like sharing a hotel room, like first because neither of us had a place to stay in California like the night before we flew out, and then on the other end, like I had to close on my place and didn't have utilities when I did, and then they had to close on their place, and like neither of us had furniture. So like we were doing that, and like they go to bed earlier than I do because I'm kind of a night owl, and I was also like, I don't know, I was like working full time through all of that, and like when we flew over, I just like slept completely through that flight because like I had my closing like super early in the morning the next day. Not super early, but like relative to the amount of stuff going on, it was pretty early. So like I just like I haven't had like a regular sense of time for like most of a month. I mean, no need to be like sorry to hear it. It's just like what it was. I mean, again, like they paid like an obscene amount of money to help me be here, and things are good. It's just like the reality of the situation. And like if you ask like, hey, how are you settling in? It's like I was never there was no sense of normalcy for quite a lot of time. So if we just do, I mean, what I really want to do is pay back extra battery war mode, which is a little excessive but is very funny. But we should move because I don't want to take like 7 damage. Yeah, it's hard to say that things are like quote unquote sorted. For like a comical amount of time, like immediately after each of us had closed on our houses, like all the people that we'd had to interact with in like the real estate and adjacent sectors were like, oh, so you settled in now? And like also my bosses who had been like very accommodating of me like moving to a new time zone and whatever. You know, like everyone would just say stuff like, oh, like are you settled? It's like I don't got water. I don't live in my house. I paid a lot of money. I don't live in it. Yeah, I would say I definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's more about tying up loose ends for me. My parents have more unpacking because they have had a bigger house and more things, and they've been saddled with the belongings of 3 children, and, you know, life's tough. What are we doing here? I think we're not war moding because I want to block. That's probably better. So I probably just... Doesn't really matter. No, it does matter which cannon because I can reduce damage here. But like, I should like shield surge, block shot, multi-shot, I think is like the plan. And then when they shoot me, I shoot them. No pause in between. Come on, let's jam. Oh snap, it's Vasco. Oh snap, it's Mr. Generic Name. Hello, Mr. Generic Name. How are you? I am in your time zone now. I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm fresh off my move from California to Florida. Like I said, you weren't sleeping enough before you moved, so I figured you wouldn't start to feel settled until after maybe a month of streaming normally again. With everything and house and furniture finished, moving is exhausting. That's all very valid. I really have no idea when it's gonna feel normal. Like there's a lot of like milestones in life where like everyone talks them up and then you do the thing and it's like, nah, it feels kind of the same. I really wouldn't describe owning a house that way. Life feels like very different owning a house. And like it's good and bad. It's mixed. There's definitely pros and cons to it, which is, you know, if you look into buying a house, like everyone says that sort of thing. But like, you know, I don't know. A good example isn't coming to mind because the one that comes to mind is like something I don't really want to talk about on stream. But like, there are like lots of things that, you know, are like rites of passage or whatever, and you do them and you're like, nah, life is what it was. It's still life. Welcome to EST. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's weird here. It's early. I guess it's late is the thing. Normally, because I'm streaming at the same time, but it's like 10:43, which would normally indicate the stream was insanely long. In the midst of house shopping. Oh no, Mr. Generic Name, I wish you the best. It sucks. I mean, I was extremely fortunate in that we had very little time, the way things were organized, for me to like look at houses, and we came across this one, and it's great. I love this house. But like, yeah, man, there's a lot of suck out there. So if I like war mode Glimmer Shot, I hit him for like 1 billion. Why did that fire many times? Shouldn't that have fired a big number twice? No, it does a shot for 2 damage each for each. That's interesting. Endless Magazine, an expensive card that's fun. This isn't good for our deck at all. Battle Repair, huh? You trying to tell me something? You being passive-aggressive, game? Overflowing Power would have been another card that would be good to get instead of the Glimmer Shot. They do kind of a similar thing, so I don't want both of them, but, like, that also would have been good. Hiko says, I'll never be in a position where I could buy a house. I mean, listen, I want to be super, hey, big Vasco time. I want to be crazy clear with you, chat. I know I've been, like, humble bragging a lot because I'm excited about having a house, and for some reason I'm talking about really expensive Magic cards that isn't justified by anything. But, like, I have never in my life been so aware of my privilege as I am right now. Just, like, being able to buy a house, being in a position to have, like a strong credit rating, having my parents help me with this expensive cross-country move, having them help me with, like, closing costs on a house. Like, it's insane. Like, none of this would be possible for a normal person in my circumstances. It's, like, unbelievably, unreasonably fortunate for me to be here. So, like, I relate, and I've felt that way for a long time. And it wasn't until relatively recently when my mom was investigating this area of Florida and their retirement and certain other things that she was sort of like, how much money do you have saved up? And then, like, doing some math as someone who was, like, more familiar with, like, being a homeowner. And she's like, you're pretty close. There's these expenses that they've covered that kind of put it out of reach for me. But, like, I was pretty close. And so she was sort of like, we'll sort of make up the difference and all move together and do the activity. I don't know where I'm going with this. But, like, I just want to be clear that, like, I don't think it's normal that I can own a house. It does help that, like, I loathe spending money. I've talked before about how I believe myself to be ridiculously cheap. So, like, yeah, I don't make a lot of money, but I also don't spend a lot of money. Anyway, back to the game. I don't think I want any of these. I mean, part of me wants Battle Repair because I keep, like, dying all the time. But at some point, the game has to stop randomly generating these things that kill me, right? Thank you, Demolition, for the 100 bits. Good thing to have for a personality. I mean, it's not bad. I think it's funny, like, my mom and some other people have sort of insinuated in the past that I'm good with money, and I'm like, I strongly disagree. I'm actually really bad with money. I'm just really good at not spending money. There's a thing, I recently, like, found a house hunting show for specifically tiny houses. If you're not familiar, there was, like, a trend a few years ago, and it's kind of still ongoing, of people, because, like, the housing market sucks and no one can afford a house unless you go to, like, a state like Florida, where, like, Florida's, like, one of the 2 cheapest places in the United States, barring, like, a place where a natural disaster has happened recently or something, to, like, buy a house. So it's, like, one of the trendy places to move to. But, like, because it's so prohibitively expensive to, like, buy houses now for, like, people of, like, an income level like mine, people will, instead of buying a house, buy a very small house, like a comically small clown house that's, like, an anti-TARDIS that's smaller on the inside. And there was, like, a house hunting show that was specifically for buying tiny houses, And the buzzword people kept saying is they wanted to live a monastic lifestyle. And I wouldn't say that I live a monastic lifestyle, but I would say that like I naturally gravitate towards an austere lifestyle. Meaning like to me, it's an incredible indulgence to like order from like a kind of expensive fast food place and like get enough food to have some leftovers. To me, I'm like, what an incredible like hedonistic indulgence. Like, I would never deign to, like, spend money to, like, go to a fancy restaurant. This may be part of the reason I'm single. It's like, you know, sometimes I think if I was born a woman, it would be easier for me to date because I consider myself a cheap date for that reason. But I do think that if I was in a position to date, I would spend a little more money, just to be clear. I'm not actually, like, a psychopath. I'm just weird. Sometimes a tiny house is the size of a small apartment. So how different from now? That is true, but from what I gathered from watching like 4 or 5 episodes of that tiny house hunting show, the houses that are closer to the size of an apartment are more like buying a very small house in terms of price. The actual like tiny houses are a lot cheaper, but also a lot smaller. So, like, there's reasonable variance. Like, I think the market sort of has support for different lifestyles and different things you're looking for. But, like, the thing I question is, like, can you find that range of things wherever you're at? Because it still seems like kind of a niche market to me. Echo says, I know fully well that you're humble about being able to own your own house. I just feel stuck. That, like, trust me, I do understand that. Because, I mean, you know that I lived in that apartment that somehow collectively we all hated for 10 years. Like, fully 10 years. I moved in, like, at the start of July in 2014. And I moved out on July, like, 29th, 2024. But, yeah, I mean, I, like, you know, just because we're on the subject, if some of y'all are like talking about wanting to like move into houses, like investigate tiny houses, because like Letter said, some of them are like apartments, and like, you know, that financing exists for these things. It is miserable to obtain, but if I've learned anything, it's a bunch of useless crap about mortgages. And like, you can get a mortgage for like kind of a worse rate, but like would let you live in a house now. Should have given it a Viking funeral. Well, if I did that, I wouldn't have gotten a really confusing security deposit check that I somehow maintain was more money than I deposited, even though they took expenses off it. Mr. Schneerkning says, my state is so expensive looking into condos, so at least I'm not paying rent and can build equity. Yeah, I mean, condos are a great option too that are more, yeah, like condos are like a similar kind of option that are like closer to living in kind of a large apartment, but like you say, you build equity in it, and that matters because if nothing else, that could help you one day move into a house. I mean, my generation, millennials, like to complain about certain life skills that were not imparted on us, and trust me, I do it too. But, like, I think perhaps the biggest culprit is that, like, I feel like the American education system does very little to prepare people to understand the process of, like, evaluating whether you can buy a house and also buying a house, because they're two distinct processes. Like, literally, in order to secure the mortgage to buy this house, they insisted that I take what was supposed to be like a 4-hour course that was insane for me to do because I was already something like 50% of the way through the mortgage process when they asked about it, and a considerable amount of that course involved making evaluations as to whether you can and whether you should buy a house and like how to, you know, work out your finances and stuff. It's like, this is like, if this is important to your process, you should probably insist that people do this at the start and not weirdly in the middle. But also just because it's like hashtag humble brag time. That 4 hour course I did in like 1 hour and 18 minutes. Somewhere I took like a screenshot of my actual elapsed time. I had to do it the night before I flew out of state for that birthday trip that was marginally ill-fated. This defeats this point as well. My mom points out that my monthly mortgage rate in this house currently, and that like there are reasons that it should actually decrease slightly from what it is currently soon. They goofed something up in the paperwork because I'm such a lucky guy. I get all the magic cards, but I also get the weird luck. But like it does cost me less per month to live in this 3-bedroom house in Florida than it did to live in that bad apartment for, well, not for the entire 10 years, but certainly for like the last like 6 and change or something. You need to take exams when buying a house. I did. I literally was required to do that. It was dumb. Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I was humble bragging about my rarest magic cards earlier, because I was evaluating them as part of the move process. I was like organizing my collection more so than I'd done in a long time to ensure that they were all safely stowed, like anything of importance was safely stowed in secure containers for the move. Did I pass? Yeah, it ended up being like a 10-question quiz, and I think I had evaluated that like 9 of them I could have answered without doing the like hour and 18-minute course. But my point is, if you're interested in buying a house, like do some research. Don't just assume that you can. Because like I know my colleague at my old job was like super crazy keen to buy a house. It mattered to her more than anything. And she felt like she couldn't. And then our boss like woman-splained to her that like from a place of being a homeowner and like knowing things that like she wasn't nearly as far off as she thought. And that may well be true for you. I don't know how that applies in the UK. I gotta be honest. I don't, like a lot of things would be different over there. But like it's worth looking into because like the stupid course I took online, like you can like literally take that for free now. Like I went to like FannieMae.com, I think it was, but like they offered like 4 or 5 websites you could go to, and that was just like I think Fannie Mae had my like student debt loans, so like I recognized the name and was like, sure, that's not a scam. Now you're curious what it asked. Yeah, I can't remember because I like jammed that like on a night that I had streamed before going to bed, before taking an early flight to Las Vegas so that I could go on like a week's vacation that ended in COVID. But like I retained nothing, but like nothing of importance was lost. Okay, what are these artifacts? Heal 1 after each combat. Remove 2, that's not gonna be it. Gain health when you defeat a boss. Let's heal after each combat. That's gonna do roughly the same thing as the other one, but probably slightly better. No, it's actually gonna be exactly the same. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is definitely upgrade Glimmer Shot so that it doesn't exhaust, because this is pretty good in our deck, I think. It's probably not amazing, but it's pretty good. Now we get a free artifact, and it makes our first attack Pierce, which is fine, but probably not amazing. And now, shard time. Do I want to, like, attack them? Do I care? The skunk's name is just Duncan. Shouldn't it be, like, Skunkin? No? Or have we devolved into dad humor? Never mind. So Generic Game says, I built a new commander deck a few months ago, and it's slowly becoming my pride and joy. Ooh, tell me about it. I have many decks. I have a few that are especially important to me. I really love my Nicol Bolas deck. It's not particularly fun to play against, so I don't play it very much. It's kind of like the pride and joy of my collection. I have some decks that are good. My Galta deck I am really happy with. Lately I've been like jonesing to make like a spirit themed Kaikar deck. Kaikar is like the bird wizard that every time you play a non-creature it makes a ghost, and then you can sacrifice ghosts to make mana. I don't know, it's just really funny to me. Also, I've like really struggled to find like a Jeskai commander I actually like, because they just keep printing ones I don't care about at all, and it makes me annoyed. Kaikar is kind of fun, so I've been kind of trying to force it. This says, I don't have a job or helpful relatives, so those are my immediate hurdles to home ownership. That's entirely fair. I mean, truly, I genuinely don't have a frame of reference to like know what is possible on like universal income, because like we don't got that stuff here. America just wants you to suffer if you don't contribute to the machine. Then we should thank you for gifting us up to Mr. Generic Name. It's Monoway Delney Streetwise Lookout. Alright, hold on. I should know that one. That's some kind of card draw guy from like Streets of New Capenna? What exactly does he do? I don't have the MTG bot set up anymore. I think I want to like... Let's like momentum to draw a card. Well, that kind of helps. Because I want to move so that I'm shooting their weak spot, but not the one that will hit me back. Well, Benny Brax does something similar to that, but isn't Streetwise Lookout also a mono white card draw guy? I thought it was. What does it do? Creatures with power 2 or less can't be blocked by power 3 or greater. I think that is a different one than I'm thinking of. That's pretty neat, though. I was always a big fan of... There's like two... Oh, creatures with power 2 or less triggered twice. Oh, that's the thing it does. It does the doubling, like, combat triggers effect or whatever. What was I gonna say? Something about... Oh, yeah. There's like a couple of like red enchantments that came out at like roughly the same time that I was always partial to, that was like, if you attack with small creatures, they're like unblockable or they automatically damage the opponent or whatever. Oh, sick. You have the new... You get a new gift subber icon for having 900. That's very pretty. Alright, so I moved. War mode doesn't do anything. Actually, none of this does anything. This hand is bad. I guess I'm just gonna block and leave the asteroids and sit here. And take my head in my hands and cry. No French class poetry enjoyers in chat? Shard. That looks bad. That looks like I don't want that at all. Battery would be nice this turn. Don't have it this turn. So if I... I think my best play is probably lunge right, attack their weak spot, multi-shot their weak spot. I'd love to acid cannon. Doesn't feel like it does anything in war mode. I could war mode, but then I would take a bunch of damage. I mean, I have shield, but I also don't have like payback up as a reward, so I think I'd rather just not take the damage with my hull being what it is currently. Hey, is this stream watchable, or is everyone getting whiplash from me playing the game really intensely for 2 minutes and talking for 4 hours? Nico says, I don't have universal income either, because that became employment support allowance, which I can't get because it would risk my mom's benefits, which would risk us being able to live here. Yeah, you've definitely talked a little bit about that. I'm definitely not versed enough in those circumstances to truly grasp or appreciate that, but that sounds like that sucks for you, and I am sorry that you are trapped in those circumstances, because it feels like, in a way, you can correct me if I'm wrong, in a way it feels like that's similar to how I felt in my apartment before moving here, which was like, it is what I can afford in California, it is far from optimal, and the suffering increases over time. No, Chen is generally on board. Great. I'm happy to hear that, because, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so we have Glimmer Shot. We could activate War Mode, scoot one to the left, block shot, and then Glimmer Shot? Actually, I think it would be better to unpolished crystal if I was going to do that instead of the block shot. Because then when I make the one attack off glimmer shot, I'm like doing more instances of 2 damage. Look, math is for blockers. Let's find out together how good this is. But I think this is pretty good. So we move. We war mode so we have double cannons. We unpolish crystal. We max out on shards. And then we glimmer shot, which should shoot both of our cannons for 2-3 times. That was pretty good. Also, they're not attacking us this turn, so like it's gonna suck for them. So, Mr. Generic Name, with your Delny deck, do you have like a particular favorite like card or synergy that works with the commander that you're excited about? Something that's like kind of a signature or whatever? One of my favorite decks, I think, is actually really annoying to play against, but the people I play most against have mostly said that it's not, so I continue to play it, which is my time-themed deck, which runs Medomai the Ageless, a Sphinx that can generate extra turns when it hits a player, but not attack on those extra turns. Just the whole deck is time-themed. Like, all the removal has to, in some way, have, like, hours or day or something in the name of it, or it has to otherwise be like time counters or something like that. And like all of the win conditions are like non-traditional win conditions. It's got like Dark Steel Reactor, Approach of the Second Sun, because it's like sunrise, which is a time of day. Dark Steel Reactor like has to charge up over time and like uses proliferate effects to pass the time more quickly. It has mechanized production because there's a bunch of weird artifacts, and so like each turn you make more artifacts and win that way. The reason I think the deck is annoying is because it uses like some fidgety like non-standard removal that I think sometimes people get annoyed about, but also just has like a relatively high number of board wipes, which I know has become increasingly gauche in like casual Commander. But yeah, I'm a big fan of alternate win cons. I also know that some people get annoyed by those. One of my favorite games in recent memory, being a little generous because this was probably like 8 months ago or something, I was playing with Cotillion and Tech, and I was playing my like blood cult themed commander deck, which is all about just like it's not like an aristocrats deck, but it's kind of similar because like it's about effects that drain, but it's not about like eliminating creatures, and it has some like thematic cards and stuff in it. But like I was playing that deck and I got to like the sort of quote unquote fun card in that deck, which is Triskaidekaphobia, an enchantment that says like during your upkeep each player loses 1 life or gains 1 life, and then each player who has exactly 13 life loses the game. And like the game had run on for like a little while, and I drew it, and I was like really like pleased with myself because like I like thought I could get like both of them close and like kill one and then like the other maybe on a subsequent turn just by doing like normal draining effects or whatever. And then like they both sort of revealed that they had like ways that they could like either gain like a small amount of life or like pay life or something, just like mess up my plans. But like instead of just like prolonging the game, they were both so tickled by the idea of like Triskaidekaphobia that instead of that, like we all worked together to figure out how we could like all die at the same time. It was good. It was a good game. So war mode's probably not super good here because I used up my shield on a previous turn. I can momentum to get 2 shield, but like they're attacking for many instances at once. So like if anything, I should probably like sidestep and like have only 1 cannon unless I'm killing them this turn, which I'm like not doing. So let's do sidestep toggle. I mean, I probably should draw the card first, but it doesn't matter. And then we'll block shot, shield surge, and somehow I failed to account for the fact that this will hit like a not shielded spot and will do actual damage. So I guess I'll use that move I got to not take damage this turn instead. Love Triska Decaphobia. Might have one, but nothing to put it in. Yeah, that's been like one of my motivating factors for making decks. It is a reason why like a lot of the decks I've made more recently have alternate win condition cards in them. It was like a big motivating factor for making the time deck with Metamai was like, I like all these stupid alternate win condition cards, but like what deck houses all of them? And I'm like, this deck that's like so thematic that like it's like absolutely not competitive or cutthroat, but like still kind of holds its own, and then like just only tries to win with these stupid things. But yeah, like it's been so long since I've played that I'm struggling to remember the decks I made recently and which win condition cards went into them. But like a lot of the decks I made recently have a minimum of one win condition, like alternate win condition in them. But like I think there's also like legitimate like strategy to that, because like I'm generally not a big fan of like combo stuff, but like you know, Tech has one of his favorite decks to play recently is like a really life gain heavy deck. And if your deck is like themed around just like doing combat damage, which is like the most traditional way to win a game of Magic, and your opponent gains like 100 life in a game, like that could be really tough to overcome. So I think having like one or two cards that get around that are a good idea. But again, like I'm not generally partial to combos where you kind of just like play a combination of cards that just like essentially win the game on the spot. The caveat to that is like, if your combo is like 6 stupid cards, like generally I'm okay with that. But like a lot of combos that people like to play for the sake of like ending the game right away are just like 2 cards that are literally just like, I play this, the game ends. And like for whatever reason, to me that just like doesn't appeal. I'm not even saying it's bad, because like some people feel like attacked when you talk about that sort of thing because they like combo, and that's like definitely not what I'm trying to say. It's like literally just like for me, like I used to think I would like that, and then I tried doing it a little and I was like, no, it's not actually for me. We have 2 shard. That's like pretty good. If we like war mode them and then glimmer shot, oh, I thought we'd be just short. Math is for blockers after all. Yeah, that's sort of the concession I try to make these days, is like, I don't have very many decks with combos in them, and most of the ones that do are like at least 4 pieces, and like they're not really like intentional. They're just like cards that are on theme that like when combined in a certain way will immediately end the game. But like if I'm aware of like any combo stuff in the deck, I will just try to be like, watch out for this, because like I don't want to blindside people with it more than anything. Because like I think that's one of the things I don't like about combo is like if you're not versed in the combinations of cards that end games that way, and you're just like playing casually, and then all of a sudden someone's like, I win. Like it's just not satisfying. It's like we play the game for like an hour, and then it's like, no, it's over. I decided it's over. You think it's still going, but it's not. I won. Like it just feels kind of ridiculous. It feels like some schoolyard stuff. And again, that's just my impression. I'm not trying to say you should like feel bad if you enjoy that. It's just like that's kind of how it comes across to me sometimes. And like in the past, when I've like encountered a combo for the first time, sometimes it feels like that. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we'll stop having fun now. I don't think I want any of these, even though Medusa Field is very funny. It turns all the asteroids and missiles into magic rocks that give you shard. Oh yeah, I get an artifact because it was a boss. Once per combat, when you lose hull, immediately heal. That could be good because our hull's a little meh. Every 3 dizzy cards get a shield. That's decent. Overcharger, every 4th turn gain an overdrive. Probably not what we want. Please, Laboratory Maniac. Attention, this is a problem. I would hope that like most people know that. I mean, I can't fault someone for not, but like, it's like clear that that can be a problem. I've been really struggling, like, aside from Kaikar, the other deck I've given a lot of consideration to recently is my Flip Jace deck. I really want to have like a solid set of decks for all of the flip planeswalkers because I love them conceptually. More so the first set. The second set's, I don't know. I was really mad that they picked, what's his name, Grist, the bug guy, instead of Vraska. I would have, like, they almost could have done no wrong by, like, making a remotely valid flip Vraska card, because I love Vraska so much. But instead they made the bug guy, and I was very sad about it. New Grist is the, like, old Grist is whatever. I don't have strong feelings about it. I'm not, like, super keen on, like, Insect as a creature type based deck or whatever. But, like, the new Grist is one of the flip planeswalkers from Modern Horizons 3, and when they spoiled that they were going to be enemy colors, I was like, does that mean, like, flip Vraska? And I was so stoked, and they're like, no, it's the bug guy. And I was like, that's way less exciting to me. I mean, New Grist is pretty cool. I think he's one of the stronger ones of the set. He's just not flip Vraska, so, like, at my core, I just instinctively hate him. But like I was pretty excited about, like, Ajani was a great pick. I'm a big Ajani fan. Even though I don't think he's like super strong, like I'm pretty excited to build a deck around him. Tamio's like solid. I'm not like a huge Tamio fan, but like her card seems fun, although it's super expensive because apparently she's like really good in Legacy or something. Ral, love Ral. Ral's one of my favorite characters also. I'm not convinced I will make a good Ral deck. It feels like it wants to be Stormy, and I don't think I'm good at Storm. But, like, you know, the other ones were, like, the Gatewatch, who are classically all pretty cool. I mean, Flip Chandra sucks pretty hard, but I still enjoy my Flip Vraska deck. Flip Jace is good. It's kind of hard to build a deck around him without it just being, like, combo nonsense. Because, like, most of the times I've tried to build it, I've just, like, put together like a good core of like blue control cards, and then the win conditions aren't obvious, and so the deck is slow and miserable to play against. So I think the thing I want to do is kind of like tap into some of the stuff that I'm doing with the time deck that I mentioned earlier, but also like lean into the fact that he's a planeswalker and like do like proliferate like spell-based shenanigans with the win condition being like ultimating a planeswalker. And I don't think that will be super oppressive. I mean, like, there are definitely some ways that you can kind of win out of nowhere by doing that, but like, you know, planeswalkers are permanent and there are ways to like interact with them, and so like I think a lot of the time that'll still be like kind of fun and interactive. That's what I'm working on, but like it's been really hard for me to balance like spells that trigger the proliferate effects and like things that make it worthwhile, and also like not dying immediately on the third hand. I think I want the one that gives me free shield, because even though I'm kind of defensive, I haven't actually had an opportunity to level up my block shots to give me more temp shield, so I think this does something I want. Would you care to engage in some debate? Turn upgrade A into upgrade B, gain an annoyance. Do I only have upgrade A's? Is that why I don't have an upgrade B option? Yes, that appears correct. Well, the thing that you need to know about that, Wilfred Brimley Walrus friend, is that I deliberately made all those choices and I don't want an annoyance in my deck. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Upgrading parry so we can use it more than once against the final boss seems strong. The primary other option I think I would consider is upgrading the block shots, which I do think would be good, but I don't think is worth more than the parry. So I think what I'm going to do is upgrade parry to be reusable, because the final boss should threaten a decent amount of damage from its cannons, and so parry should be reasonably strong, and drawing it and playing it more than once should be good. Now, the issue is that I never did get the thing that like refunds energy for playing expensive cards, and also, as we know, I'm incapable of drawing the extra battery on the turn that I want to do anything useful. It's been a little better today than yesterday, but like it's not great. See you next loop. For some reason, that reminds me that, like, not that long ago, one of my favorite bands, Confidence Man, posted this insane thing to Twitter that was like... It was like a short video clip of one of the lead singers, like, smoking next to, like, I think, like, a taxidermy badger that was, like, also smoking. And I forget exactly what he captioned it, but it was like... Stay smoking, badgers, or something, as if it was like a way to end a conversation with your friends. And like I responded like, this is a thing that I think that we should say at the end of all our conversations. And like they actually like responded to my tweet, which is uncommon for me, and I was very excited about it because I'm like a complete dweeb and don't understand how social media works. Shard. Payback. I'm only taking 3 damage this turn. I could, like... Oh my god, Perry is already doing 13 damage. So I could do, like, War Mode Parry 26 damage them. That sounds, like, pretty good. You have Stream Pineapple? Elaborate on that. Is that just that you, like, diced up some pineapple you had and are enjoying it for the stream? Or is it something more complicated and ritualistic? I mean, realistically, can I not attack for 26 on the first turn? I feel like when I have that option, I should do it. It does mean that I will take a bunch of damage immediately, but when does that ever stop me? I mean, that's just like a lot of damage. Oh, also, it can custom on cannon. Right. At some point, I factored that in and just forgot. Diced up pineapple cheese and got some grapes out too. Oh, that's very fancy. I like it. Yeah, I was pretty excited about Confidence Man responding. Mostly just because I legitimately think they're just like super cool people. I think Confidence Man is one of the most like Vasco musical artists in existence. Which isn't to say that, like, their music appeals to me and only me, because they seem reasonably popular even though they're, like, kind of indie still. But rather just that, like, their whole vibe is, like, really close to my whole vibe, and I just, like, really appreciate it on, like, a spiritual level. What's a fun fact? Neko says that pineapple is her favorite fruit, and it was on sale at the market. I think my favorite fruit is apple. I like apple pretty well. It's one of the only produce that I ever stock at my home because I really struggle to eat well. What am I doing this turn? I can get an unpolished crystal and draw one of 7 cards, which look medium. War Mode will not allow me to hit both concussable things at the same time. Luckily, even though they're armored, we did get that, like, random piercing upgrade with no alternatives. Like, that's kind of nice. I think we want to, like... War Mode Lunge? That feels pretty good. I'd be taking 1, but I could do, like, Block Shot or something to follow up. War Mode Lunge to the right should be correct, because we'll hit this with our piercing and stop it from attacking us, and then the other side will just be facing 1 damage. And then we have 1 energy left. Yeah, Block Shot seems good, as much as I'd like to polish that crystal, which again sounds rude. Apple is Neko's second favorite fruit, only because pineapples exist. I'm a reasonably big fan of pineapple. I don't think I could be bothered to, like, store or chop and prepare pineapple. But, like, there's a period of time when I first moved to California and I was working an internship next to this weird, like, shishi expensive shopping mall. And not my boss and not my manager, just like some like weird person of importance that they hired at some point was like really obsessed with this yogurt place, Pinkberry. that had like mostly only like healthy toppings, no like Oreo cookie crumbs or whatever. And like because she would like always send us to go there every now and then, she'd be like, and like just get like a yogurt for yourself. I don't give a crap. Like it'll contribute to my like loyalty punch card or whatever. And so like I was like big into pineapple as a topping there for a while. Nowadays I tend to more frequently attend places that have toppings like Oreo cookie crumbs, or as I mentioned the other day regarding Dairy Queen, like fudge and peanut butter topping. All right, let's shard. Oh man, look at this trash. Look at this trash draw. Sidestep could be helpful here. Acid cannon could be okay. It's kind of not a lot to do here. I mean, without battery, we can't like double acid cannon or something fun like that. We could war mode glimmer shot. We'd have to move into a better position, but we could feasibly do a decent amount of damage. Not like a ridiculous amount. I kind of think I just want to like move really far to the right and then acid cannon. Chip shot is fun. Technically, I should chip shot. No, that doesn't matter. I can acid cannon and then toggle for free to chip shot on a thing that isn't armored, and then toggle my armored space back against the one so I don't take damage. Dodge. Like it says, you can buy pineapples that are pre-peeled and cored for really cheap. Sometimes you could just buy half a pineapple like that so it doesn't take up much space. I think it's more a consideration of like, am I realistically going to eat that much fruit? Since I like apple better than pineapple, it feels unlikely. Also, like many other like fruit and probably produce at large, but I've rarely stocked my own vegetables that aren't spinach, which is a thing I've tried to get into in the last like half a year. There's definitely like variants. I've had like kind of like tough pineapple, which isn't great. I don't think that's average. I think that's like a pretty below average roll, but like, I don't know. There's a limit to how much produce I can tolerate because my eating habits are terrible, and I won't lie about it. Boy, this hand's bad, huh? Am I down a card for like some actual reason? Did I already play something for 0 and just forget about it? Where is Perry? How have I not drawn Perry since that first turn where it did some really good work, in fairness? I mean, regrettably, at this point, because I already have battery in hand, like, I can't parry and war mode in the same turn. I think we just have to, like, move a bunch. I just don't want to be in the way of that 5 damage and missile. If it was ore, maybe I'd tolerate that. I mean, I guess we'll play Shield Surge and Block Shot, but since we're playing Block Shot and have an excess of energy before factoring extra battery, probably should do this because we'll concuss the 2 damage cannon. It's hard to find the time to eat a whole pineapple when you live on your own. There's more to that sentence, but I feel like that says it all. Shard. Okay, hang on. If I sidestep... if I sidestep, and then war mode, and then like multi-shot and glimmer shot, I will do like a lot of damage. I will then also in return take like 5 damage. But I have some shield and that won't kill me. And it will put me in a really good spot to like take them out. So I'm all in on this. Math is in fact for blockers. So let's do, I don't think order matters here, but let's do Glimmer Shot first. Yeah, like that was a lot of damage. All right, these lunge positions are awkward. I think if I lunge either direction, I like don't hit with both cannons, so like it doesn't do lethal with war mode. I guess I'll crystal. That didn't help. I'm like perilously close to dying. I was really hoping to just draw like 2 attacks in the same turn and like win. I mean, I probably just lunged left. Yeah, I think it's like lunge left, then toggle my cannon to block some of this damage, and then shield. Parry. That would have helped earlier. You are growing stronger. Who shall it be? Well, we came into this because we had none Dizzy memories, so we'll do Dizzy this time. I have questions! I will hear them. This time loop, do you know how to get out? Yes. Can you let us out? If you leave right now, you will be destroyed. Your timelines are too fragile to cross the boundary. Boundary? We in some kind of pocket universe? Ah, you must be the clever one. Ah, thanks. Hey, wait, that wasn't an answer. Wow. T-minus 217 days. So basically, we focus 3 particle beams into the crystal sample. Cool. This emits a burst of all kinds of subatomic particles and a controllable sphere of space-time distortion around the core, which... Hold on, I'm trying to write all this down. Don't bother, the physics doesn't matter for a drone operator. It matters to me if I'm gonna be a participant in a giant explosion. That's fair. There's only a tiny chance of that, though. Oh, good. There's tons of cool science I could do with this if we're careful. But Perry won't let me. Perry sounds very smart. The important thing is you don't want to be in the reactor core when it's active. I definitely don't. You should write that one down. Don't go inside the particle accelerator. Guys, I think that Sam Beckett stepped into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. Traveling within his own lifetime, looking at reflections that were not his own, or something. I'm starting to paraphrase. There are a lot of artifacts I haven't found, and like a shockingly large number of cards I haven't found. Alright, let's do roughly the same thing as last time. Randomized ship, Jupiter, classic, good pick. The people we need memories for are... everyone but Isaac and Drake. So in order to do this run and not be ridiculous, we need to have at least one person that isn't Isaac or Drake. Chad, go ahead and tell me who we're going to bring on the run. I know almost immediately someone is going to say Isaac and Drake, and I will make a face. my opinion, Perry, just to close that one out. I mean, that's a reasonable thing to say. We could also do that with Riggs, however. Earring dude, that's Drake. Well, actually, I mean, Riggs kind of also has an earring. I think technically they're both women. I don't think either one of them is actually an earring guy. Not that that matters. Just in case you were concerned that there wasn't enough female representation in this game with like cartoon animals. Riggs and Drake for team earring. Sure. That seems fine. Female only? I mean, I think that specifically leaves us with Perry. Because Isaac is a dude. I believe Max is a dude that can kind of be like gender neutral or whatever. Disney pretty sure is a guy. Books? No, Books is actually a woman too. Okay, I misjudged that. I thought Books was a guy for some reason. I kind of feel like we shouldn't do Books because we've done a lot of Books recently. Sure, let's do Perry. Team Girl Power Jupiter. It's actually kind of interesting to do Jupiter without Isaac. It's actually kind of... Let's see how that plays out. I don't know. For now, I kind of feel like still doing normal. Like, I don't know. Different games handle, like, difficulty differently. The impression I've gotten playing Cobalt Core is kind of like... You should probably just, like, complete the story on normal unless you, like, really want the game to feel hard, which, like, generally I'm not a fan of punishing myself that way, which I know will sound ridiculous to those of you who've watched me stream for many years. But, like, I think the idea is sort of, like, once you've, like, done all the things on normal, then you challenge yourself with the harder modes. And maybe that's why there's, like, artifacts and things that I haven't seen before, is maybe some of them are gated by difficulty. But we've done some hard and harder, and I think we did at least one hardest as a meme and like died in like 8 nodes. But let's just do this because we're trying to get all the memories. I think the story seems to be the thing that chat and probably myself are most concerned with. Cool. Pick from 3 uncommon cards, pick a common artifact, or random rare card. So we got Heatsink and EMP Slug from Drake, we got Lunge and Multi-Shot from Perry, and Riggs gives us Draw Shot and Scramble, which I hate so much. Common artifact is probably reasonably reliable. 3 uncommon cards could go either way. Random rare card rather, is probably bad more often than it's good, but it's also funnier, isn't it? How do we feel, chat? I'll let you pick this too. I don't strongly care. My inclination is because I'm streaming, I should pick rare because it will induce the most amount of suffering, immediately contradicting my previous statement about not trying to make myself suffer while playing a video game. There is still some mystery character. I don't know if you, like, unlock them by getting all the memories or if there's some other, like, rare achievement. Want to start with an artifact? That sounds cool. I'm not sure I've ever chosen this one. Oh, it's not a choice, you just get it. you just receive a common artifact. That's fair. At the start of combat, gain a free flippable move 2 in one direction. That's not bad. That's not bad. Drake, a word. What was the Drake voice? It was kind of similar to the Dizzy voice, I think. I don't know. Whatever it was, I've decided it's going to be Zap Brannigan now. Huh? What do you want? I've been looking at your file. File? I'm off the grid, baby. I don't have a file. Yeah, this seems like it fits. Sure. Anyways, everyone else was at the Cobalt when this all started. Except you. Your file just says you're a pirate. Just a pirate? I also consider myself a smuggler, marauder, and general scoundrel. Uh-huh. What, am I about to get a lecture on morality from a glorified mall cop? No, my time is more valuable than yours. I don't feel like we gained much from that. That's true, I haven't watched the new Futurama yet. Demolition says, it's not as good, but still enjoyable. Would you say it's worse than the first Hulu season? Because that's kind of how I described the first Hulu season. There were, like, genuinely some still kind of, like, peak jokes, but, like, overall, it was, like, more middling. Although, admittedly, like, I don't think I've watched all the, like, Comedy Central era. It is notably worse than the first Hulu season. That sounds disappointing. Why is my hand so big? They call them fingers, but I've never seen them bing. I mean, we got a Jupiter moon, right? By the way, I really like elegant game design stuff. I'm not sure I call it out enough while streaming. I mean, you don't see it all the time, but like, I really think that work prep is just like the perfect way to make sure that you always feel like you have a shot in like a Starship comment in Cobalt Core. It's just like, there may be like one ship that's an exception, but basically everything starts you with just like a shield and evade at the start of battle. So like in a case like this, I don't definitely take this 2 damage. I can spend my movement right now. Or maybe I could like block or do some other thing. Like stun it or something. But like I like that you just always have like a couple of options as a starting point. So I think we are just gonna move and then Jupiter's moon and then multi-shot? Maybe EMP Slug is better. It does more damage, but gives us a heat that I don't strongly care about. This final episode was the only true good one. I can believe that. I was watching something not that long ago that was talking about how, like, every time like the Futurama staff agrees to do a new season of Futurama under some conditions, if the future of the series is uncertain there, they will go out of their way to ensure that they have something that could act as another finale, which is kind of insane considering how many times it's been rebooted. But like, I think I've seen all but one of those finale episodes because one of them was part of the like Comedy Central movies, and I've kind of seen some of those, and I don't think I saw the one that was the finale there. But like, all the ones I've seen are great. I mean, the first like network TV run finale for Futurama was like amazing. That finale was so good. I guess we'll draw a shot. Right. I'll never correctly remember how the interaction of playing Jupiter's moons and drawing a card works. Demolition says, I did like the disenchantment wink confirming more than a wink in that show. I didn't get far enough in disenchantment to know what that means. I don't know. Disenchantment disappointed me. I was expecting that show to be great, and I watched the whole first season and found it pretty disappointing. It had some good stuff, but like really wasn't what I was hoping it would be. And then I haven't watched more than the first season, but like the impression I get is that most people seem to think it like doesn't get better. Just gonna shoot him. Let's do basic shift so that I don't have to move and I could just play a Jupiter drone and then shoot him 3 times. That's neat. All right, let's... Oh, it's not flippable. Browntown. So I can't really move despite having the pilot here. So let's, I guess, draw a shot. I'm not sure moving is super useful now. Oh, never mind. They don't have that much health. The multi-shot just does it. All right, what do we got here? Sear. For 2, we can do 2 piercing damage 2 times. That's pretty appealing. Because anything that fires multiple instances by itself scales with any number of multiple Jupiter drones in a way that's exciting to me. Hand cannon is a card I don't think I've ever gotten to work. I'm not sure how often I've tried, maybe like once. But like, it counts the other cards in your hand and does that much damage. I don't know. It's kind of tricky to really accumulate a large hand size. It's not impossible, especially with the rigs. Because, you know, they have sort of a draw theme to what they do. But then you have to lean really hard on it, and I don't know. Sear just feels like it's more immediately in alignment with what we are doing and what I kind of want to do for fun, not to save life. Okay. This lower path looks good. Gets us like an early upgrade and then some boss options if we want the maximum number of artifacts. Unmanned ship up ahead, and it's hailing us? Welcome back, Commander. How may I help you? 2 random cards gain upgrade A. 2 random cards gain upgrade B. Choose 1 card to upgrade. Wow, you can upgrade Sear so it doesn't even like do heat damage? I think that's more appealing to me than the stuns. I mean, getting rid of Scramble is good. What are the... Oh, A is the one I like on these. Yeah, I think A is generally the upgrade I like for most things. I think I'll take 2 random upgrade A's, even though they'll definitely both be basic cards, as I expected. You may shut down now. But now we could do an intentional upgrade. Which I guess would be Sear. Or multi-shot. God, Scramble's such a bummer. I really genuinely strongly dislike the card Scramble. It can cost 0 too, huh? That's interesting. But if it costs 0, it will always only go in the one direction, which is less appealing. I mean, multi-shot is definitely easier to fit into a turn right now. And, like, heat's not a major concern yet. I think I'll upgrade multi-shot for now. It's easier to play on the same turn as a Jupiter drone. I'm good at this. Free block. Like Glissade. I don't have very much. Oh man, I got like a weak spot here. Is that built into the ship? I think that sort of thing happens on higher difficulties, but we should be on normal. I think I have to like move left and use Jupiter drone defensively here. Oh man, Lunge is such an awkward card. I'm really only just now processing the fact that we will move, but the cannons are the Jupiter drones, which will stay wherever they're at, which is just like conceptually super weird. I don't want to lunge to the right because then my weak spot will be in the one thing that's taking damage. So I guess instead, I think Sear and the combination of multi-shot and basic shot do the same amount of damage, but not doing Sear saves me the trouble of the negative status, so I guess I'll just do that. because they don't have like shields or anything I need to pierce. Ooh, got a lot of goats right now. Dodge. Jupiter drone. Draw shot? Oh, boy. I... In order to get my empty spot facing this cannon over here and thus take truly none damage, I would need to move 1, 2, 3 to the right. I think I want to do that. Play a drone with our last energy and then not take damage. We take a lot of damage here, huh? So I can... My 2 remaining energy, I can either EMP Slug, which will neutralize the damage here, and hit him for 3, and then also hit him for 6 here, so 9 total, not enough to kill them, but then I'll take 2 hull damage. Alternatively, I can Sear, which will do 4 damage here, and 8 damage here, which still doesn't kill them, but if I chose that path, it would do more damage, but then I would take even more damage, and it would be directly on a weak spot. So let's Slug. Boo. Let's Lunge. Jupiter. So many multi-shot. Multi-shot. That was 9 shots. That's 3 threes of shots, and that's terrible. Anything you're enjoying to watch recently? I mean, to be honest, there's very little I've been able to like focus on with all the, you know, staying at a hotel and not having access to like, you know, platforms to stream off of, and just not having very much time and working full time while being in a weird environment, while trying to like secure a mortgage and move cross country. So like, I haven't been watching a ton. You know, I was enjoying watching like, there's this like weird channel that like only like marathons like a limited set of reality shows that I mostly enjoy. I was watching a bunch of those with my parents. I talked a little bit about those, I think, before the July break. But the thing I will comment on is I've recently been watching the YouTube VODs of another streamer's Twitch series, a guy named Tom Walker, who's like an Australian stand-up comedian. And for some reason, he discovered this mod that came out, I think this year, for Grand Theft Auto 4, where I think it like removes all of the friction from just like cars that randomly generate. And what that results in is that like all the cars that spawn in the world like immediately travel at like 10,000 miles per hour and just like launch off the ground and like ricochet off buildings and explode and stuff. There's just like there's no way to do anything without risk of like spontaneous death at all times. And like in this way that I just like can't articulate meaningfully, it's just the funniest thing to me. Like a new one got uploaded to YouTube this week that was like my favorite one yet. where he was like doing these missions with this guy Brucey, and he has to deliver Brucey to this race and then like win the race and then drive the guy home. And just such an insane comedy of errors based on this like unknowable force of destruction that exists. Michael Bay's Grand Theft Auto on Ice. I mean, there's like a Michael Bay element to it, but there's this sheer force of chaos that I feel like some director probably embodies that you could make an analogy to. I don't know. But like, oh my god, it's just so funny. Like I get so excited every time there's a new one available to watch. It's like he's just like literally walking in a straight line, and then just like a van drops out of the sky and flattens him, and he's just like, well, time to start over. Hi everybody, welcome to the stream. I'm coming to you from Florida in the Eastern time zone. Thermal battery is not it. I don't think I want more heat for that. Another multi-shot sounds great. Love multi-shot. Heat distiller. Gain a serenity every third turn. That's pretty fun. Missile Bay gains armor is kind of cool, although at the same time, with the Jupiter build, you're like typically really actively playing something that would block line of sight to your bay anyway. Hull plating. Permanently gain 3 max hull and heal 3 on pickup. I think it's kind of close between Armored Bay and Heat Distiller. Technically, I think Heat Distiller might be better. But at the same time, I'm reasonably likely to upgrade Sear so that it doesn't generate heat, and then it won't matter that much. Armored Bay, because we have very little blocking, is more appealing to me for some reason. Alright. Let's immediately burn that one move that we get for free, as mentioned earlier. This basic ship doesn't feel like it's necessarily going to do a lot now, huh? Florida, did you move into your retirement home or Disney? I mean, neither, but I did move here so I could be close to my parents, who had followed me out to California and have reached retirement age and are sort of setting up for their own retirement. However, we're also not like extremely far from Disney, so that is an option. For me, I can own my own house, which is exciting. But also, I live 0.9 miles away from my parents. So instead of having to drive like a half hour on California freeways to see them ever for any reason, we now routinely just show up at each other's houses like a sitcom. As my manager pointed out, it's like Everybody Loves Raymond. I suppose I should just do Sear because it's more damage and the stun doesn't matter. Ocean says, so my family. I don't know. I don't mean this to be derogatory, and I hope I don't upset you with it. From the vague impression I've gotten from some of the stories you've told about your family, I kind of feel like you're Charlie from Willy Wonka, and that your family is just in some preposterously small dwelling for the amount of people there. I could be completely off base. Oh man, check this out. I scoot one to the right, that missile misses me completely. Then I spend an energy making another Jupiter drone, because like Jupiter drones are great, and obviously we love them always. And then multi-shot like crazy. There's 5 people in one house. I think that qualifies you to be Charlie Bucket. Now, listen, there is definitely a point at which multi-shot is not the correct thing to do. My options are 2 cards I don't like, Scramble and Juke. I could skip multi-shot, though, is the point I'm trying to make to you. I will probably have to start removing cards from the deck, but I'm not mad about having 3 multi-shots in my deck, especially with Jupiter drones. Oh, sweet. We just for free get like a higher heat cap. That's probably enough to insulate us from the damage we'd currently take. Let's put this here. They're not threatening anything, so I should do maximum damage, which I guess is just slug. I mean, I could... No, Slug is just the most damage. I don't really see a reasonable reason not to do it. I gotta get rid of the scramble. Neko says, don't ever say the word skip multi-shot ever again. I think Neko's the only person whose appreciation for multi-shot is even close to my own. I do, honestly, I'm not at all upset about getting 2 of these basic cards switched to cost 0. If I can get that, I'm generally a pretty big fan of it. Because the effects of the basic cards are usually useful, but like you just don't want to spend the energy on it. So when you get them for free, like it's typically quite good. And you've seen me like choose to do those upgrades before as well. Let's play a Jupiter, draw shot, and then multi-shot. It's pretty awkward for you to safety override before you've gained the payback condition. Ice Bunny says, have to take over and move back to my hometown and honestly don't know how to feel about that. Hey, let's talk it out. What are your feelings on that? If you want to sort through it, talking through it with a stranger sometimes works. Stranger's probably overstating it. We buds, right? Let's see. Jupiter's moon. And then, like, I don't know, like, a free dodge and, like, some multi-shot. And then, like, oh, I thought I was going to play the second multi-shot, but you died really easily. Do I need sidestep? I don't currently have a lot of movement. 0 cost movement is helpful. Am I likely to be able to upgrade it to flip? Probably not. I don't want another EMP slug, I don't think. The multi-shots are kind of doing that job, but the one EMP slug I have is good. I think it's good to have that option. Yeah, I think I'll take sidestep. Shield memory. Shield lasts between combats. Nope. Prep batteries. Gain an extra energy on the first turn. Jumper cables. Gain temp shield on first turn for hull lost. Considering how little defense we have, jumper cables is probably correct. Although, it might be nice to have the extra energy on turn 1 so we can like get our first drone out and do like multiple attacks. So I'd say it's kind of close. Oh, the mic picks that up. That's fun. I get used to it. I think I turned off the noise gate. It was giving me issues yesterday and it wasn't today, and I think I just left it off. I don't remember turning it back on. I don't know, prep batteries is more fun. I think jumper cables is smarter, but it's more fun to do the other thing. It's a good song. Let's dodge. Let's not take 3. Let's play Jupiter. Draw into... Darn, I was hoping for, like, some multi-shot. I really want to justify some way to move and play another Jupiter drone and do something fun. I don't think that's very smart. Probably the smart thing to do would just be to play EMP Slug, because then it will protect the Jupiter drone I have and deal as much damage as anything is going to deal right now. And then I don't take any damage, right? God, good song. Scoot. Drone. Shoot 'em up. Shoot 'em up style. Pew pew. Ah, my drone. Ah, my squeedly spooch. Jupiter drone sear? That should be enough, right? Ooh, the AC just kicked in. I can feel it, and I can't hear it, and it's delightful. Hotfoot. That sounds ridiculous. 1 heat for 2 move? I don't think I need move badly enough to, like, commit to something weird like this. Exothermic release. Reduces heat, does a piercing damage. Yeah, you can upgrade that to cost 0. That's kind of fun. Do I need it, though? I'm doing, like, so much damage with my, like, multi-shots and, like, heavy Drake attacks that, like, these fights aren't typically lasting very long. So, like, even with, like, 2 heat cards and 1 heat... Like, I don't think... Getting it at 0 would be useful, because it would just be, like, another thing I could fire off with the drone. How does it feel to have high AC now, besides being able to dodge arrows? Nice. Did I tell that thing on stream? I saw, like, a meme I really liked that was, like... an ace, like... When the AC reads 95... No, when the AC reads, like, 75 or something like that, in North America, it's, like, fine. In Europe, like, terrible. In Dungeons and Dragons, like, some, like, glowing, indestructible god creature. But to actually answer the question, it's awesome. I don't have to think about the outdoor temperature or wear the absolute least amount of clothing possible at all times. And I can have a microphone that sounds nice for my streams. And it's just good. It's just good. I'm like really torn on this exothermic release. Like, I already need to get rid of stuff and, like, upgrade things that I have. Like, I want to upgrade multi-shots. It still isn't even, like, close to our record for most multi-shots. One of the first runs I did, I had, like, 4 multi-shot A's. Because I got the, like, quadruplicate event when I already had upgraded it. I pew-pewed so hard. I don't think I need this. I could be wrong. I don't think I need it. Could get you anything? I think I want to... I think I want to remove Scramble before doing anything else. Hate Scramble. What a bad card. Whoa! Somehow we randomized the, like, not upgraded boss. I had done it so many times in a row, I had genuinely become convinced that, like, that couldn't happen anymore. Cool. I mean, I guess Seer, I don't know. Free shield, free block. Let's move 1. Because we got the shield to counteract that. And then do Jupiter Moon. I feel like camera positioning is a lot better today than yesterday, as is probably mic positioning. Does anyone care to speak against that? Just for the sake of future reference. Guess I'll get some shift for later, because my other cards cost 0 and aren't useful. Place Bunny says, my brother died and his wife got the company and has nothing better to do than getting rid of it. My dad is on a mission to get the land back, but since he's 80, he's a bit too old to run a production gardener shop. My parents hope to get a gardener to rent. We're lucky that we could count as farming. There's a mediator type person helping with the buyback. My sister-in-law and her sister dared to call you irresponsible. because your ADHD made you misplace your phone and it ran out. Wow, that feels like a dramatic overreaction to that happening, especially if we're talking about like one occasion. Like, that's deeply messed up, and that says more about them than you, and I hope you know that. That's like a lot. I definitely understand why your feelings are complicated about that. So, are you then... Are you either hoping or expected to have some part in that business, or is the idea simply that your family is trying to rent out your brother's previous business and have that be a passive income for all of you? And yes, I am sorry about your brother's passing as well. Sorry, I was trying to process things and I'm just not that sharp. What we got here? Could do 6 or 2. How about 6? We'll call them poplars. Let's use our... Let's get a free shield. Let's use our... drone shift. Play another Jupiter. 16. I should probably do slug here. It's gonna be the same total amount of damage as multi-shot. And I don't have like another attack to pair with it, but using slug instead of multi-shot and like gaining a basic shift for later means that like all my drones stay intact because we neutralize the attack that would clear one. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take a damage here, huh? Oh no, it's a... Oh no, that's right, because I got the thing that increases my threshold. I'm so good at arts and crafts and the guitar. Hang on, I have a thing for this. Glissade, Jupiter drone, multi shot. If we get a renter, Nice Bunny would be landlady. If not, I have to be the CEO. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to take on. Furthering my understanding of the complicated nature of the relationship. How do you feel about being the CEO? Do you have interest in that? You have to move away from Copenhagen. Not that you're happy here. The chair from the HOA is losing it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've gotten some sense of that gradual descent into madness from some comments on my sister's streams, which I unfortunately haven't caught all of recently, but like, I am sorry. I know you've been dealing with stuff like that for a long time, and I've dealt with similar stuff at the apartment I just left, so I empathize. Serenity for free. Cycle and draw a card. I don't think that does anything for us. Weaken Hull is like funny. I don't think it goes with this deck very well. You like apply weakness to some part of their ship and it can override armor, but like I don't think that's it. Table flip is funny. The table flip status lets you make all things that could be flippable, but it's just kind of expensive and doesn't do like a ton on its own. I think I want none of these. Like, Serenity's okay, but I don't think a thing that replaces itself and doesn't contribute anything. I mean, like, I would technically have... Well, I don't know. Is there a downside to playing Serenity? Really? Because it's always just going to draw whatever card I would have drawn instead. But it gives me Serenity so that if I do happen to stack up the heat status, then I'm fine. I think I've talked myself into this. There's probably at least a handful of corner cases where that's not strictly true, but like, I think it's true enough. Gain 1 extra energy every turn, gain a heat every turn. I mean... Every 10th time you draw a card, gain an energy. We could lean into that. Jupiter Drone Hub Booster. Gain 1 energy every time you launch a Jupiter drone while there were no Jupiter drones already in the mid-row. I've never seen this. I feel obliged to take it, at the very least because I've never taken it, but also to see what it do. This actually, I mean, like, this kind of just does the thing that I was like, this is exciting because I could have an energy to like launch a drone and do more stuff. This does that too, but doesn't have downside. I mean, it has downside of being a little more specific, but like, I don't know, you know what I mean. Maybe you don't. It's late. How long should we go for? This is actually a good question. To get to the end of the zone would take a while. I haven't really clocked specifically how long this stuff takes. I'm doing a little less like direct address to the camera than I was earlier in the stream, but like it would still probably take like somewhere between like 20 and 40 minutes. Do you want to go all the way to that? We just ended a zone and got a cool thing. It might be a cliffhanger for, I don't know, some other occasion. This one, he says, small town in Germany where my name and face is known. Sister-in-law had so much bad gossip. Why does she hate you so much? What's up with this lady? Plan to talk to my brother about moving to Hamburg. It's the second largest city. I mean, it's tough, right? Because, like, it might be nice for you to get out of Copenhagen where it seems like you've been increasingly unhappy, which is kind of where I was at with California before I moved. But it does kind of suck for you to feel like it's not like your choice in where you're going. Like, particularly, like, there's another place in mind that you would feel happier going to. I mean, like, is there a world where you, like, wouldn't end up being CEO and making this move? Do you feel like it's an option? Because, like, in essence, it should be an option to you, but I realize that in practice, family obligations and other things can make it so, like, it is essentially not an option. Hey, Castle. Greetings from the land of thunderstorms. I checked the weather report for my area in Florida today, and it's like, today, warm, sunny. Tomorrow, warm, sunny. The next 8 straight days, roughly a 50% chance of thunderstorms, which isn't abnormal for Florida. It's just funny because we had kind of a stretch without rain, and I was like, that's weird, and then it was like, oh, my bad. Feel you have to because there's nobody else. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ice Bunny. On some level, what you're describing is like literally the plot of like 40% of all Hallmark movies. And a lot of those end with the person in your position deciding to just like follow their heart and ostensibly, in this case, moving to Hamburg. Now, that's not to say that's practical or the right decision for you, but it is a little funny to me as someone who's obsessed with Hallmark Christmas movies that you've described a really complicated German version of a Hallmark movie. But I do feel for you because that sounds really tough. I mean, a big life decision like a move or like potentially taking on a lot of responsibility like that, that's a big deal. That's a tough decision. Don't want to marry a cheese hubby. God, that's a really great sentence. I mean, it's kind of a bummer sentiment that you feel like that's a thing you might be compelled to do on some level, but it's just a really funny thing to say. To be clear, is the husband made of cheese? Will Ice Bunny end the stressful time learning the true meaning of Christmas? Almost certainly. My sister has insisted that at some point I should go to the big Christmas market in Germany. I forget what town specifically it's in, but travel is expensive, and I just bought a house. It's true, Hallmark movies do end with a typically heteronormative relationship being found by people making decisions driven by the true meaning of Christmas. I forget if I've talked about it on stream before, but like, I used to be really big into the game Destiny, and they had this one like PvP event, and I hated the PvP in that game because I generally dislike competitive player versus player games. But this one in particular always got me because like Lance Reddick's character in that game is like this like kind of like almost like a drill sergeant. It's kind of reductive, but like he's just sort of like aggressive guy who's like always trying to tell everyone how to like fight better. And he does like I think he was the one who did the narration for the PvP stuff. And there was like in this like cycling game mode that happens sometimes, like there was a voice line that was like, "Go, Guardian, show them the true meaning of war." And like every single time he started saying that, I just was subconsciously convinced he was saying like, "Show them the true meaning of Christmas," in like a just insanely aggressive, nonsensical way. Yeah, rip Lance Reddick. Definitely gone before his time. What an absolute lad. Alright. So we have a cool thing that lets us make more Jupiter drones. I think... Tell you what, let's hedge a little bit. Oh, no, there's not really a good stopping point. I was gonna say, like, let's stop when we get to the shop. Well, I don't know. You know what? Normally I like to get those boss artifacts, but we got this, like, multi-shot heavy build. If we go to, like, more shops, then we can upgrade all the multi-shots, and I think that sounds funnier. So, let's go until we get to this shop and, like, upgrade a multi-shot, unless something makes me want to upgrade something else before then. Oh, that's interesting. You can upgrade to Serenity B that draws 3 cards for free. That's fun. Big Christmas Market is in Nuremberg? Okay. It has been featured in at least one Hallmark movie, but I'm terrible at geography, frankly. Alright, let's do this. Get a free energy. We also start with the free energy, so energy. Can I draw a card? I actually can. Free shield. If I draw a shot, then... Oh, man. Hold on. I'm cooking, everyone. Hold, please. So every time you play the Jupiter drone making card that's associated with the Jupiter ship, it goes basically on top of your deck. So if you draw another card, you would get it again. So if I glissade, then I can draw again and play another Jupiter drone. And, I mean, I'm going to take like a needless amount of damage, but this is funny. I mean, look how much damage I just did. 10 damage. Now I'm going to receive like 4 damage. Okay, free block. Why did I get move? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Play this. Lunge for like 4 damage. And then basic shift for fun. If I go and get my own Hallmark moment. It could happen. It's probably as likely to happen there as anywhere else. And I will refrain from saying the obvious depressing follow-up comment that immediately occurs to me. Ace is like so funny and just like never the correct thing to take. The only thing it does is gives you a status where you like get 1 free move every turn for the rest of the battle. You get this status for free when you do the sports event, but only for the duration of that event. I don't want any of this. This is not good. So let's go question mark. Faulty jump point. We're too close to the black hole. If we don't jettison something, we're in serious trouble. Lose 6 hull. Lose 6 hull. Wow, this is rough. These are all cards I want to keep, but 6 hull is a lot of hull. Am I forgetting that on this run I have something that heals me? I don't think I do. I think I got stuff like that at the end of last run. Oof, that's rough. What do I do here? Thank you for the bits, Demolition. Who says, love blossoms eternal at Christmas time. For a 0.01% temp payment on a vacation. Appreciated. Thank you. Have one of these. Now we don't have to look at me for a second. I mean, with only one elite enemy, maybe I could make it to the end without exploding. I mean, draw shot's just really important because, like, now that I'm aware of how useful draw is with the artifacts I have, like, I don't want to get rid of the draw shot because I can, like, play multiple Jupiter drones, like, early on and, like, really ramp out. But EMP Slug is also proved to be useful because it protects my drones to keep them safe for longer and also does a lot of damage. Meanwhile, multi-shot is the dream. Take 6. Not the first time my life's flashed before my eyes today. It's Drake. Hey, Spike, we told that other guy it can't be Spike anymore. Who? The other guy named Spike. We renamed him. Oh, I don't care. That attitude right there? That's why you're the real Spike. I don't understand this pirate culture at all. Drone, shield, shift, move drone. Why would I do that? No, that is actually fine because I wasn't facing anything before. I mean, for 3, I might as well do both seer and multi-shot A. Free dodge, Jupiter. Do-do-do. This song is a bop. I don't feel like I've heard this one that often. What's this comment from Ice Bunny? 1 point for Flensburg is that it's close to Denmark, 30 minutes, and Hamburg is 2 hours away by train. Man, I wish that the US had more train accessibility. Trains are great. So let me ask you this, Ice Bunny. Obviously, it's a big commitment to move and do this for the family, whether you get the renter or not. What choice do you feel like you have at this moment in your life? If you feel like you don't have the choice to not support your family in this way, what type of choice do you think you can make right now? I'm just curious, like, what exactly is useful to try and weigh for you. So I could heat sink to evade this missile without using my evasion resource. And then I could multi-shot, but because they have like gaps in their ship, it's only going to do a little bit of damage. I could, however, also just like move right one and then EMP Slug, which does like a little bit of damage, but disables whatever status thing this is, like adding a junk card to my deck or whatever, and still avoids the bad missile. I think I like that. I think I want to just sidestep like right away, and then drone, and then shoot, and then Serenity to draw a free card, and then basic shot? Lunge is bad because we'll just take more damage. So that's the problem? You feel like you don't really have a choice? I mean, I think that's something to sort of reflect on. I'm an art historian and educator. I don't know how to garden. That's fair. I definitely don't know how to garden. And I don't even have, like, real skills like historian or educator. Maybe something to reflect on then, if you feel like you're trapped in this situation, is what things that you can do to make the situation feel more like you have control. That could help to alleviate some of the stress of what a big thing this is. I just want to play a Jupiter drone. It's like a really inefficient use of my resources, but like, yeah, let's just like move one and drone. I feel like I lost more drones than I should have, but I'm too stupid to have paid attention to know why. I think sidestep was a good draw here. Yeah, because I want to, like, drone, probably sear. No, for some reason I didn't think that was going to do lethal, but it, like, definitely would. Panic! Spend 1 energy, randomly move 2 spaces in 1 direction, gain a shield, do none damage. Nah, I don't really like the move in a random direction. I feel like those will get me exploded. Not just damage, like, I feel like those effects will get me exploded when I need them. X is your heat, gain X move, cure 1 heat. Ventilator lets you discard a random card to draw 2 and lose a heat. And you can do it infinitely. That's like close to a good card. I don't think I'm sufficiently set up for that to really do, because like I can't generate, yeah, it costs 1 every time. Like, free ways to draw cards if I can like stack up movement so that I can like play more drones is useful. I don't think that actually does the trick. Alright, we hit the repair shop. Let's upgrade. I think it's still going to be multi-shot. Like, the heat from Seer has not largely been a big deal, and we took Serenity. Upgrading Serenity to draw cards seems fun, but I don't think it's super important. Upgrading Basic Shift might actually be useful at some point, but, like, Draw Shot's doing its job, Slug and Seer are doing their job, Heatsink is, like, cuttable, but is also fine. I think we're just gonna upgrade Multi-Shot to multi-shot. And then we're gonna... this one. Let me go ahead and... no, it's fine. Do you want the background music or not? It's slightly more annoying to edit, but it's not really a big deal. This one he says, get an ADHD meltdown and explode my sister-in-law's face for a start, and then make it very clear that she pisses me off. Only once her daughter will get nothing. Mom is a trained florist and she's practically the boss, but my parents are old and should do other things. I mean, I guess that's fair. But I mean, the other sort of implied part of my mom's question, I think, is like, is there a benefit to you being close to your family? Do you get along well enough with them that that's like a thing that would enrich your life? Definitely have a new mosquito bite. I think a mosquito came in here during the stream. I saw something floating that I thought was it, and you probably saw me have a weird reaction to it, but I haven't seen it since. I don't know if that was the one that bit me, though, because that would be like the 3rd one I've seen today, after not seeing them for several days. It's definitely a tough situation. My heart goes out to you. I wish I could suggest something that would truly help. I'm doing my best to think of things that could either help put things in perspective or help determine resources to make the situation better for you. But, like, really, you know, I respect your position that it feels like you don't have a choice in the matter. But then, like, I don't know that there's much I can do to try and help you feel better, which is what I would like to do. So regarding stream, I mean, for the foreseeable future, I think we're on normal stream schedules. Like I said, I think I may try and like bump it up like an hour at some point and see how we all feel about that. But I might wait until we start doing spooky stuff so it feels more like a bonus than a random thing we're doing. Not that I would expect us to run an extra hour late after that, but just I don't know, I feel like psychologically it's like easier for everyone involved. We can keep doing Cobalt Core until we get all the memories. I don't know if that actually appeals to people. I do kind of want to get... Angel had gifted me... I forget what it's called. Like Duck Detective or something. Back in July. Like right before the chaos ensued. And like, I would like to play that. It seems like that is a one stream game. So maybe we do that sometime next weekend. Part of me wants to hold off on streaming Sam and Max the third Telltale season until I feel like The Office is settled, but in some ways it might also be fun for that series to sort of keep track of the insanity of this fluid time frame. These might be Discord discussions. But yeah, at the very least we should be streaming next Friday and Saturday. Something may be a little broken, as it has been, but, you know, we've made do so far. Mom is your ADHD wrangler because both you and your dad have untreated ADHD and you must love her for that. It's true, you are obligated to love your mom for that. Definitely, my mom does tons for me, and I don't feel obligated to love her, I just do. But I am lucky because my mom is Beth's mom, as chat is well aware, I think. Echo says she's excited that we've completed the move with plenty of time to prepare for spooky season. Yeah, we're definitely going to do Fran Bow. I haven't really done a lot of prep to figure out what else we're doing, though. 2 more days for the Yu-Gi-Oh! McDonald's. Yeah, I set an alarm on my phone to get up early on Tuesday. I don't know if this is gonna work out at all. I do kind of want them. I really don't need more, like, stuff, but... It's Yu-Gi-Oh! And Hello Kitty. It's really funny. It's just such a... Like, if it was basically any other fast food chain short of, like, Long John Silver's or some needlessly specific thing, it would be much easier for me to do it. But McDonald's, I have like actual like allergic reactions to, or have historically, and I'm not excited to push those boundaries because it was really bad. So I either have to like get them to sell it to me individually, or like buy some sort of wasteful Happy Meal. Would they not sell me a Happy Meal toy individually early? It'd make my life a lot harder if I have to try and do this during business hours. And I really don't want to go to a place I can't eat food for dinner. That sounds bad. I mean, at least for this first week, my intention was to call ahead and ask them if they would do that. But if you happen to already know, it would save me some time. Depends entirely on the store and their policies. See, that's like the annoying thing about it. If it was something reliable that I could just do and have agency over, it wouldn't be a big deal. Go to a supermarket and get... Well, okay, so just to be clear, Ice Bunny, the issue is this, that, like, I have food in my house. I could make it. It's slightly inconvenient because of the stink water situation that I won't bother you with, but, like, it's... not ideal currently. We're working towards that solution in a manner of speaking. But McDonald's, the chain restaurant McDonald's that you probably heard of. I don't know which countries have them, but I assume most people's at least heard of McDonald's. finally have brought a promotion to the US that has tiny, weird plush toys of a crossover between cute Hello Kitty characters and fun early Yu-Gi-Oh character designs, which is very appealing to me. But I historically have had like strong, like powerful negative allergic reactions to fried food from McDonald's, like very, very bad. Um, and so like I want to go to McDonald's to get the toy, but I can't really eat there. Yeah, well, I mean, the issue, my mom says in the past we've been able to buy toys from Burger King from like Pokemon collectibles and other things. I remember that, and I know that to be true. But the issue is sort of, as Neko points out, that it kind of varies by like restaurant, and like not only am I not familiar with any McDonald's, having not been to them in like over a decade, but I especially don't know what the policies of a local McDonald's would be now that I've moved to an entirely different state. It's all theory crafting. People are like, I wonder, like, if you could just buy like a drink and a toy. Like that's fine, but like they're just gonna decide. Like the store and its manager are probably gonna decide what the policy is. So like, I don't think we can come up with a definite answer. Where is this quote sourced from? The corporate website? Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think it's within the purview of a local restaurant manager to just override that and be like, we don't want to be bothered with it. It's the kind of thing where, like, I'm sure that their corporately managed system has the means to, like, just like, there's like a sub menu somewhere that's like individual Happy Meal toy. Yes. But, like, the cashier may just like lie because they don't want to do it or they don't know how to do it and just like not, or the manager's like, no, that's annoying, we're not doing that. Not gonna be bothered by less work. The thing is, it's all psychology because it doesn't seem like less work if they have to do something outside of the normal that they're not familiar with. Then it seems like more work even if it's not making a whole meal or whatever. Anyway, I don't know how we got all lost in the weeds on this. It's a thing. I'll probably make some effort to do it. I imagine I'll be frustrated, and if I do go through with it, and if I am frustrated, you'll probably hear about it next week. I'm honestly not like the thing is, things are more spread out in Florida than I'm used to. In California, you could probably get to like 4 McDonald's by spending like, you know, a couple hours like going to a drive-through or whatever and like asking about it and then going through the drive-through and then just repeating that process a few times. Here, because things are more spread out, I think I'd have to drive like quite a distance to go to a second one. I don't think that's really worth the time and gas. Wawa should offer toys with their subs. True, although that's sort of an unrelated thought. That's kind of a... What's that meme that people reference? That tweet that was like, I love pancakes, and then the response is like, what you got against waffles? Welcome to the countryside and swamps. As mentioned earlier, mosquitoes. No, I mean I get why you pointed out Neko, but just like it would like I think that would just take a level of commitment to this that I don't necessarily have. I mean, yeah, several of them are fun. I feel like because they're not rare Magic the Gathering cards, my luck will probably be that they'll all just be Time Wizard Dog, which despite the fact that I truly love Time Wizard as a character and his design is magical, Time Wizard Dog is like absolutely the worst one. I don't know, I guess Karibo is like not great either. But like it's just like I would The distance is enough that it would be like a measurable amount of gas over many weeks to accomplish this task. And again, if it was a place where I could just incidentally get food and use that as like a justification, then like, yeah, I'd do that for a few weeks and it wouldn't be a big deal. But like, it's a lot of going out of my way. So like, we'll just see what happens, I think. Is your luck transitive or even transcendental and not limited to magic cards? I mean, the thing is that the only reliable positive luck I have observed is that, like, when something is insanely difficult to get as, like, a magic product, I can get it if I want it. That isn't to say that I don't have incredibly powerful good luck at other times. It's just not nearly as reliable. I thought my earlier rant made that clear, but it may not have. Television says, pro tip, feed other people bananas or high potassium foods to avoid mosquitoes. I was actually aware of that and mentioned that to my mom recently. I don't remember where I learned that, but I remember mosquitoes not liking bananas. Nico asks, am I not sweet enough for the mosquitoes? They spared me during Haggis's wedding. I do believe it is literally true that, like, people can have a certain quality that like repels or attracts mosquitoes. I don't think that's like superstition. Sugars too, especially processed ones like sodas. Oh, man, and me trying to like be responsible about my soda intake, it'd be saving me from all the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are such a garbage animal. Who asked for them? Anyway, it's already late. Why don't you all see if you can find a secret Squirtle somewhere in the vicinity of the frame? It's hidden some number of secret Squirtles. They're, you know, I mean, we've been doing this a long time. We got some stuffed animals. You basically point out where you think a Squirtle is, and I'll reveal if there's a Squirtle there. But of course, the important thing to remember is that if you locate a secret Squirtle in this way, it will be an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. Your brother had type 2 diabetes and was literally a sweet treat to the mosquitoes. Boy, I hate that a lot. I hate that very much. Oh. Alright, looks like we have two camps. We got a crab camp and we got octopus camp. Let's go take a look. La 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 la. We'll start back here because we weren't. Wow, this room is so quiet. The second I took the headphones off, it's like, oh. This guy couldn't appear on camera yesterday because he was in a box. I dug him out today. It's got a Pokeball. It's an empty one. It doesn't have a Squirtle in it, unfortunately. And then Carlos Crab. Yeah, look at that. It's our spooky Halloween Squirtle to get ready for the impending autumn. But Nico had suggested maybe our classic orange Vulpix was hiding a Squirtle as well. And while it's not, because instead Dr. Cinder Agan is sitting on Vulpix's tail, this is the thing I wanted to show off. I mentioned it earlier and probably would have forgotten again. So, Vulpix is great. We all love Vulpix. Vulpix is a universally beloved Pokemon. It's extremely cute. Now, I'm going to demonstrate, set aside, Tiny Vasco. So, Exhibit A is our cute Snow Alolan Vulpix. It has a little smile. It's got a nose where the nose goes. It's great. Something about Vulpix's mouth feels really derpy to me in a way that I can't fully explain. And also somehow the like monotone brown eye like doesn't. There's something weird. I guess what it is like the little like light reflecting dot or whatever kind of makes it look like she's just staring straight up or something. Yeah, and like the nose is like a little off. I mean, it's still great, but like when I took a closer look at it, I'm like, there's something like a little off. This is like Volpux or something. Like something a little weird about this guy. Uh, Nose and mouth stitches were wrong way round. I'm not sure if that would solve the eye, but the nose, I think that might do it. I don't actually think the mouth is a problem. I think somehow, though, the other elements make the mouth seem a little goofier. But I think between the two, it's clear that the white Vulpix is like the more traditionally sort of Vulpix, despite being the like alternate color. Is very. I mean, they're both cute, but like it's just a little derpy. Let's see. I think we're all good. The nose isn't sewn down far enough. Yeah, I mean, like the shape is a little different too. It's very interesting all around. It gives the impression that like the same person made this Vulpix and was like, oh no, I didn't do it right, and then like tried really hard to get all the details right. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I'll do it for this stream. Thanks for watching. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being you. And I hope to see you again soon. As I said, I anticipate pretty regular streams for the foreseeable future. You know, there's lots of homeowner-y things that could change the schedule. I'll try to give you a heads up or whatever. But at least for a while, we should be doing stuff, even if we have like weird view of the couch that we may have to get rid of or whatever. But yeah, until next we meet, take care of yourselves and remember that you are Colossal.